you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Hey, motherfucker, what do you like to do?
Oh, I don't know. Play chess. Screw.
Well, let's play chess.
They give off to Jonathan Taylor. Jump cutting his way close to the goal line. He's in there. Touchdown. I-N-D-Y. Jonathan Taylor.
Wheeler finds Quan from the logo.
Here's Halliburton into the front court. Mishandled it, but gets a shot. Hits it. Hits it.
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV on 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
All right, we got a lot to talk about today. Turn my ears up just a little bit there, Carl, the engineer. I appreciate that. Our tradition continues at Brothers in Broad Ripple. It is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving and a Bud Light Blue Wednesday with Colts tickets for you to win here with the football toss. We've got a lot to talk about considering we got to watch IU, and it was an absolute joy, was it not? It probably was to Boilermaker fans or non-IU fans. It was awful. That was some of the worst basketball, if you witnessed that today and watched, that you will ever see. Some of the most half-assed basketball you will ever see. Like, I'm still waiting for Omar Ballo to pass the half-court line. My man walked the entire time like he was playing on the badminton court at the Hyper. It was embarrassing. Embarrassing. Well, I can tell you this. Our good friend Brian Evans has texted me a number of times. I think he wants to be cut loose today on it was that bad. It was. And I know everybody's going to say, just like Mike Woodson said, hey, it's early, a lot of hoop to be played, and there's no doubt about it. But it's not like this is not a similar conversation as we've had before. What is that, like $7 million into dudes? What about that backcourt? You had a backcourt that got 3 points, I think. I don't think Carlisle scored. Did he not? So it was incredibly. I think Rice scored. I think Rice had 3 maybe. Was he a 1 of 11? Carlisle didn't score. So you had 3 points in your starting backcourt. You had a half-ass and not running the floor center. And that basically was the outcome, man. Louisville was up and down the floor. It was like young dudes against old dudes just running IU out of the gym and in the process embarrassing them like nobody's business. So, yeah, it's okay. I know a lot of IU people say, well, you know, Mike Woods is a former IU. Who cares? That was embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing today. And with what Louisville had, again, up and down the floor, just coming right at IU and IU having no answer, especially in the second half. That's some of the worst basketball you will see. And there's this zero way. There's zero way this is going to last. Mike Woodson, I mean, none. And I know, again, everybody's been told that, hey, he can hang in, and hey, he's got to hang in, and he's a former IU guy. But you can't look like that. You cannot look like that, especially with all the money that is sunk into that group right there. Come on. I mean, it's one thing, and believe me, I'll go off on everybody. We'll probably go off on everybody before the end of the year. The season is over, but you don't get much worse than that. IU fans can chime in. Listen, if Evans wants to call, Evans can call. We're wide open today if he wants to. Now, it's not only going to be about IU basketball, and believe me, there's no pleasure in this because IU football has been going well this season, has been awesome for IU football fans. In fact, I was going to tell you, well done out of you right there on the football toss. IU football, the bucket game coming up on Saturday. I'm actually going, so I've got free Saturdays up until New Year's Eve with the JMV takeover. My lady here is wrecking some shop on the football toss right in front of us at Brothers in Broad Ripple. But I'm going with the Smiley Bros coming up tomorrow. I am going to go check that. I'm sorry. I keep thinking today's Friday for a moment. Today's Wednesday, and I'm not going tomorrow, nor am I going Friday. I'm going Saturday to the bucket game. So I am going to count on you. I am going to count on you to tell me where to go to these tailgate extravaganzas coming up on Saturday. I know I'm going to go see my man J-Law because he's got the drink skis or whatever that is coming up on Saturday. But the bucket game, I am going. And, I'm going probably more for a hell of a time, to be honest with you. So tell me if you're going down where your tailgate is going to be. Let me know. And we shall dial it in and come by and check you out. Now, if you're watching inside the AAA membership, by the way, now is a great time of year to sign up for AAA. I just met with Matt a little bit earlier. AAA membership, we've got prizes to give away courtesy of AAA today, so sit tight for that. Now, I mentioned inside the AAA membership lounge, things need a little lighting. See, this is what happens, I think. Carl and I have messed with this before. When we have a window in the background, things are kind of dark here. So Carl's going to fix that in a minute. So hang with us inside the AAA membership lounge via YouTube Live, and we will fix it. That looks like I've been in the tanning bed for a little bit and got the red face working right there. Still, that's okay. You can see me better than you could, but we'll fix that and make sure everybody is good, and I will run down what you can win. And this is good stuff. This is what I remember. Going back to Morse Reservoir, remember at Wolfie's? Shout out to Scott Wolf, going all the way back to June or maybe even the end of May. We gave away with AAA membership, I think we gave away 4 tires in their mobile pit crew, and it went awesome. So I think we're going to do something like that again today, and we're going to do it for you callers out there. Just in time for the holiday season, Thanksgiving coming up tomorrow. I know everybody is out and about. A lot of people on the road right now in the car, truck, or van. We're going to give you a chance to win that. So you get to listen to win throughout the course of the afternoon, and we'll give you a chance with, like that, Carl. How about if I just hold the light up to my cheek right there? There, now you can see. Hey, look, everybody, AAA Membership Lounge. YouTube Live. But the bridge of my nose looks like Tyrese Halliburton on Monday night when he got banged up a little bit. Hey, Pacers back at it. Pacers the third of 4 at home, a 4-game homestand later on tonight against the Portland Trailblazers. Of course, we'll have that for you right here. Later on this evening, they'll wrap it up coming up on Friday against the Toilet at the Field House. And these are all games 4 at home, and then obviously throughout the early portions of December that are incredibly important for this team to get back on track. And as I mentioned that too, our good friend Tony East and I had a conversation yesterday. He has a podcast. It's called Locked On Pacers. And we had a long-form conversation about a variety of things regarding the Pacers. And we did a great job. I loved it. I love talking to Tony. And that podcast with Locked On Pacers is up there right now. So you, my friends, can check it out. Locked On Pacers with me and Tony East. Pacers coming up later on tonight. Now, you're talking about a Wednesday. I know Bowen's going to drop in here, and I'm sure we'll talk about IU and that embarrassing, disappointing joke of an effort today against Louisville. And that's what it was, a joke of an effort. That's what's so bad. I mean, there were missed shots and turnovers and all of that. But if you watch that group, and the lack of effort that they got, especially from their $1 million big man of a half-assing it up and down the floor center. And now that you get paid at that level, you're going to get your ass ripped at that level. And they and he deserve every ounce of it because that's how bad that it was. Every ounce. And I know IU fans were kind of waiting, on this neutral floor type of bigger name, not Eastern Illinois matchup, and it was embarrassment today. Pat Kelsey, even toward the end, kind of called off the Dogs, or in this case, the Cardinals, but I don't even know if he really had to. It didn't matter who was in there. Just IU's guys, they weren't ready for anything, and they did not show the effort for anything today. Discussion coming up. Kevin Bowen's going to join us. We'll talk about that and IU football. If you're watching, again, and she'll get into the screen in a minute, Lindsay Monroe is here. We're going to get the AccuWeather forecast for your Thanksgiving travels from Lindsay of Channel 13 coming up in just a second as well. I think Hagan's going to stop by here. I know Jeannie Glaros is going to join us a little bit later on, too. And we've got your chance on a Bud Light Blue Wednesday to win Colts tickets coming up. You can barely see. There she is right now. We'll get a little lighting on Lindsay Monroe of Channel 13 and make, Hey, Carl, this is a good idea. I'll just hold it up like this. You guys have to do that, too.
I think it's got a clip. We can just clip it onto
it does. Go ahead and clip it on there, Carl. I think it does. I don't know if it helps much. Hi, Lindsay. How are you?
Oh, I'm melting.
Because, the rain out there.
It's just, who ordered this?
I know. I couldn't help it. Hey, tell me about the weather. What are we going to see later on today and throughout the course of the rest of this week?
Unfortunately, this is kind of it for today. This is what I was kind of worried about the timing of it hitting. There will be some ice and some snow that'll mix in overnight.
Around here?
Yeah.
Or just north?
No, it'll probably around here and east, but it should melt. It should not last too long. And then you've heard about the forecast this weekend, and you're still electing to go to the open bucket game.
I think so. You want to go? I think the Smiley Bros would like for you to go.
No, I don't want to sit outside and when it's 20
I don't
degrees
know if I'm
outside.
Gonna sit out. I'm going to go. I'm going for the party.
Okay.
That's what I'm going. That's what I'm trying to find people that's got the party going on.
Maybe if there's an indoor option.
Yeah, I'm going down there. Are they going to reopen Hooligans this weekend in my honor? Because that's why I want to go. I want to go to Hooligans down in Bloomington. Somebody reopen Hooligans in Dunkirk Square in my honor this weekend. So that's another reason why I'm going to the bucket. All right. So tell me about this weekend. It's going to get cold. It's not going to snow, though, right? Just get cold?
Well, we might have some flurries. That just kind of happens whenever we have northwest winds blowing off of Lake Michigan. Not quite frozen yet, so we get that lake effect.
Michigan's always screwing us over in some way.
At least we're not going to be in South Bend. I mean, they're going to get some pretty intense lake effect snow this weekend. We could see some flurries, but our primary weather thing is going to be the cold and the fact that our highs are going to be barely near freezing. Lows in the air temperatures in the teens, single-digit wind chill values from basically Saturday through Tuesday. It's like a prolonged first little cold snap of the season. So, yuck.
That's bad news right there.
Bad
I will
news.
say this. We were doing the Colts pregame huddle from where that ice rink is in Carmel. Is it called Christian Kringle or some crap? I don't know what
it's the Chris Kindle Mart.
Chris Kindle Mart? What the hell what's Chris Kindle?
It is a German term.
I think I went to school with him when I was at
market.
Indiana State. Chris Kindle?
Yeah.
Was he from Jasper? Chris Kindle?
You went to school with a Chris Kindle?
I think so. Did you?
No.
Oh. So tell me, what's this about? We were going there, but it was going to be so cold on Sunday morning, they decided to pull the plug
on
the gathering.
Yeah, I was a little concerned about the outdoor event that you're talking about being up there for that. Yeah, I mean, it's really cool if you've never been up there.
Is it? You got an ice rink? I don't ice skate. Do you ice skate?
No. But Gina, with her hockey experience, she's very impressive on the ice.
Like Mike Madonna of Carmel. Back in the day.
I put those ice skates on, and it's kind of I've got wide flat feet. And you rent these skates, right? And you put them on. I immediately, my feet start cramping. I do a couple laps around. I'm going real slow. My thighs start hurting. I'm like, it was a full-on workout.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't know how hockey players do it. I mean, it is very difficult to skate.
But it is normally fun up there. Just
so
when
much fun.
27 degrees. I think, well, it was a high on Sunday, too. So who the hell knows what it would be at 10 in the morning, right? On Sunday morning?
It'll be about 20.
Yeah. So that's why we're not doing it, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Like Gorman pulled the plug on
Did they just reroute it to an indoor location instead?
They rerouted us down to our building downtown.
Yeah.
We normally do the away games inside our building, and then we were going to do that as a special event and a watch party, and I guess they pulled the plug on that because probably nobody would be. It's not like the Colts are going, hey, come out and weigh. Great. Here's a product we want to go watch. Let's run over there and sit out in 20-degree weather and watch this.
It's not worth getting frostbitten over.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Yeah. So that's Lindsay Monroe of Channel 13 right there. So the forecast could be better is what you're saying.
It could be, but I'm glad that we're getting all the rain in tonight because Broad Ripple is already all set up. Of course, tomorrow morning, we've got the Drumstick Dash.
The Drumstick Dash?
Down here in Broad Ripple. That's going to get underway at 9
Are you running in
the
that?
morning. I'm absolutely not running
Neither
in
am I.
But,
hey, we're non-running partners right there. Thank you.
Yeah, we're not punishing ourselves for no reason.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Nope. We're not doing that.
I stayed out too late. I missed curfew. I got a bad grade. Get up and run some balcony laps.
I will happily send in my donations. It is a very good cause. Dave Collab, we're going to be out. We have WTHR is a media sponsor of that. So, we've got a lot of people from the station that are going to be down here running that. A lot better people than myself. But it's always a great event. It's been going on for several years here in Broad Ripple. Just a great way to kick off the Thanksgiving holiday.
Yeah, that's the Drumstick Dash coming up tomorrow. They're going to get you. Hagen is here.
Oh, well, hi.
From Fox 59 in the house. Carl, can you get my man a chair of any kind right there? It's anything whatsoever. We'll put you. You're not on just yet. Carl's going to get your chair.
Did you just wake up?
Turn on your mic. Did you just wake up or? There you go. Go ahead and turn on his mic there, Carl. We got it.
We're getting there.
Live at Brothers and Broad Ripple, the Tradition Wednesday, Bud Light Blue Wednesday. There's Chris Hagan at Fox 59.
I woke up within the last hour. Look, I parked right there in that spot.
Yeah.
And it was so tight, I had to try to do the squeeze out.
Oh, did
like Winnie the Pooh getting out of that hole. That was tough. But I'm gonna tell you what, Lindsay's voice was so loud when I was down there paying the meter, and I could hear it like coming through the walls. I'm like, I'm in the right spot.
You made it.
I'm not saying you're loud. I'm just saying the echoey. If it was you talking, it would have been the same way. But yeah, I woke up recently, and I do have to go to work, so I'm only here for like an hour, 45 minutes to an hour.
Work tonight? Oh yeah, I guess it is.
And I work
Wednesday,
tonight, and I work tomorrow, and I work Christmas.
That is a lot to do
You
right there.
opted for careers where you have to work on holidays.
I know.
Us.
You know,
it's fun.
I've worked every day since Labor Day. Every day I've been on since Labor Day. And now I'm going to have 3 straight off. Tomorrow, Friday, and then Saturday.
Did you get a fresh, cool guy haircut?
I did. You like it?
Yeah, I do.
I'm fresh. I was already
Oh my gosh,
cool.
on the back there's like little racing stripes.
Is there really?
Did you not know that?
I did not know.
He got the fresh,
Turn around
cool
and
guy
show Hagen the
Oh,
back of your
that's-
head.
hey,
He's got racing stripes. Do you see that?
Oh, yeah, he's
God,
handsome.
I love
He's a handsome man.
Debbie from Great Clips
Oh
is
my.
so awesome.
That's hilarious. You didn't know.
Debbie
from Great Clips.
Debbie
I'll
from
smile
Great
like
Clips.
you're being happy.
She did you
There we
dirty.
go.
Lindsay, look up and smile.
So, you don't like it, or do you like it? I thought you acted as if you guys liked the haircut.
It
No?
looks like something like a 9-year-old who is playing basketball for the first time. He's like, "Mom, will you have them shave racing stripes in the back of my head or some cool swoosh?"
Are there stripes in the back of my
Are
head?
y'all watching?
Look, yeah.
Did y'all watch IU?
Yeah, it was
I
pretty
napped
funny,
through
wasn't
it. I watched
for the comedy.
I
For
heard
the
you
comedy
coming in.
alone.
You know that kid's name is Umar, not
I don't
Omar.
give it. He was at
Umar.
Gonzaga in Arizona, and he's half-assed it everywhere. Now he gets paid $1 million to half-ass it up and down the floor.
Yeah, you gotta earn the
like
right-
you did today. That
right
was
way
a,
to pronounce
that
it.
was
This
a
is
joke.
something that sometimes in the pros you'll see a guy, he gets a big contract and he doesn't have the same effort. But now you're talking about college kids getting a big contract, and you expect them to be mature enough to not live the lifestyle and still put in the work.
Well, he's definitely
So
eating the lifestyle.
This is a new era where, I mean, Ole Miss went and spent like $17 million because they were for sure in football going to make the playoffs, and now here they are with 3 losses and they're cooked. So it is. I mean, you got the boosters that put the money in, and they expect, hey, I just wrote this big check. You better win this year. You better win right now. And as we know, especially in college athletics, there are no guarantees in this world.
So the 3 guys they brought in was Rice, Carlisle, Ballo, and Goody off the bench, right? Those are the 3 guys that they brought in.
What they produced today?
The backcourt of Carlisle and Miles Rice went for a robust 3 points. Carlisle was 0 of 2, played only 14 minutes. Rice was 1 of 11 from the floor and had 3 points. Ballo had 11 points and 6 rebounds in 31 minutes of play.
11 and 6, you said?
Yeah, and Goody from Illinois, the transfer out of Fort Wayne, had 7 points. So I think that's who we're concentrating on. They had a total of 10 points. No, I'm sick that 10 to 21 points.
I'm not a fan of these around the holiday neutral site, cool location games. The mentality of like you're in college as an athlete, and it's this time of year, everybody's going on holidays. Like you said, we work in TV, we have to work around the holidays. Athletes for a college team, they have to play games around the holidays. That's just part of it. But their mind, they're not always going to be in it. So I wouldn't read too much into this embarrassing blowout loss to Louisville. I would just say, okay, that's a wart on the resume down the road, but I don't think that defines the whole season.
You don't think that defines that kind of loss like that has been
horrible.
Defining that of Mike Woodson's era there. I mean, we remember those losses, right? I mean, like the UConn game, like the Kansas game, there are any number of games. I don't think anything that bad yet.
Yeah.
But that seems like that the Bahamas, neutral site, November or not, that starts getting to the tipping point of people just getting sick and tired of it.
If me and you were 20 years old and went to play a basketball tournament in the Bahamas in November, do you think we'd be locked in completely?
You know what, though?
I think if I was getting paid like they are to be there, I might try a little bit.
It's a different view now. I mean, these guys, like in the past, maybe you'd say, well, they're college kids, just like you're trying to explain. But now they're professionals. Now they're getting paid. You get paid $1 million, and you
I'm
don't.
saying they're getting paid, but they're still the same age. They're still young kids, young people.
I mean, you're going to get ripped more.
Yeah, but look at the NBA. Half of the rookies in the NBA this year are like 19.
Because all they do is play NBA. They don't have to go through the facade of like, oh, I'm going to class and I'm a student. It's
true.
They're still having that aspect of it, even though they are, being paid to play the sport.
These guys did not look ready to do anything today.
Yeah.
No,
I wasn't. IU was a 3-point favorite, so to get your ass handed to you like that's pretty embarrassing. But I'm not surprised when I see results like this across the country at these tournaments around the holidays. So if you're an IU fan, I wouldn't give away my season tickets just yet.
It's Chris Hagan of Fox 59, Lindsey Monroe of Channel 13. Your friend, your partner, is doing the late thing again, right? From Handel's Ice Cream?
She's just doing her thing.
That's just what she does? She's late to everything, isn't she?
It's called glorying.
Glorying. I like it.
Lindsay, are you left-handed?
I am. That's why I wear my watch.
So you play golf left-handed?
I do. I do everything.
Oh, wow.
There's a lot of people who are left-handed, but they golf righty because that's how they're taught. You couldn't teach me to do anything
right-handed. So you got
right-handed.
the custom left-handed clubs and everything. That's legit.
It's very difficult to find.
It's impressive.
I had to look at 7 different places to find a glove.
Right.
Because my glove's on this hand. But yeah, I mean, it's weird being a lefty, but there are some advantages.
Yeah.
Hey,
does it affect you when you do the weather? Most guys or gals are right-handed doing the map. Do you have to go the opposite way? What is this?
You want
a
a
trading
sticker?
card?
You want a sticker today? Thank you to Brian. That's BK from the shop here in Broad Ripple.
These are
they got
great.
that.
I haven't seen this one yet.
Can I get one? Can I get one autographed?
That's me in a tub of cottage cheese right there.
Is this a turtleneck?
At first
it
glance,
is a turtleneck. And look, I've got my rope gold chain on the outside of it right there.
I got
you
one
can
of
see
those
that.
too.
At first glance, I wasn't quite sure what you were doing here in this picture.
I'm drinking beer that has been
it looks
spilled
like a
on the
cake
floor of my
stand.
apartment in Terre Haute.
At first glance, there.
It's the Terre Haute Indiana State Party.
Did you live at the Village Quarter?
I lived in the crappiest house in Terre Haute.
I
where
lived
it
at
would
the Village
snow
Quarter
and it
in
would
Terre
come
Haute.
down through the chimney and land. I knew people at the Village Quarter. That was out on 446.
It's right by the airport out there. Yeah, it's a little bit of a drive from campus though. If I was a student, I wouldn't want to live out there.
See, I walked to campus every day. So that is on South 5th in Terre Haute. I lived on 6th and Deming.
Very close to 6th Ave.
Yeah, 6th.
Was that a thing back then?
What?
6th Ave?
The dancer's place?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I don't think it's there
I'm sure
anymore.
you're enjoying your walk down memory lane here.
I love
The listeners out there on this holiday.
They love Terre Haute just like I do,
They would
Reagan.
like to hear
Know your
something a
stinking
little bit-
audience.
Terre
a little
Haute
bit more
never gets enough
substantial.
love.
We
Never
love
gets
Terre
enough.
Haute.
Have you been to that casino in Terre Haute?
I have not.
No, but I'm going
It's
to go
really
soon.
nice. It's smoke-free,
Is it?
which is hard to find, like left-handed gloves for golf.
Yep.
All right, Colts coming up in Foxborough on Sunday. Josh Downs looks like it's a long shot for him to play. We'll see about Bernard Ryman at left tackle. You know how bad they were on the offensive line. Hagan, a little early look coming up on the road to New England for the Colts on Sunday.
I thought we were going to break.
We will, but I was going to ask you to tease it.
I just woke
a
up.
little bit of a
Hey, I
look.
tell you what, the Colts still teetering on the edge of a playoff wild card spot. You got the schedule lightens up now. You only got one team left with a winning record. So you go from playing a 9-win team last week to a 9-loss team this week. We'll talk about it coming up after the break.
Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59's on the other side. That's Chris Hagan of Fox 59. Lindsey Monroe of Channel 13 is here. We've got a Bud Light Blue Wednesday. It's tradition at Brothers in Broad Ripple before Thanksgiving to come in here, have a great time, win yourself some Colts tickets, and hang out with us. Carl's the on-site engineer with us, doing a bang-up job per usual. James back at the studio. And I've got a AAA membership opportunity for the win coming up a little bit later on, too. I shall explain. Don't go anywhere. The stream, the app, the AAA membership lounge via YouTube Live at 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
It's quite pungent. It stings the nostrils.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. The Wednesday before Thanksgiving is tradition on this show. Brothers in Broad Ripple on a Bud Light Blue Wednesday, everybody. Lindsay Monroe, Channel 13's here. Hi, Lindsay. Lindsay's mic's not on. Carl, come on, Carl. Damn
Come
it.
on. Carl's, I don't know if it's on. Is it on?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're on as hell now.
He's been fixing our backdrop so that you could see us a little better. That's cardboard.
Cardboard back there, dude.
Look.
Chris Hagan of Fox 59 joins us, too.
Yeah, you don't want to be backlit on television or web or in photographs.
Backlit.
How about just YouTube?
Yeah, that's
Is it that deep?
It's a streaming service. But, I mean, if you're going to have the visual element of the show, you might as well be able to see you.
Yeah.
And here we are.
There's a lot less of you to see nowadays, John. I heard the commercial there in the break.
55 right now, buddy.
Oh, wow.
Where'd you find 55 pounds to lose? Where'd they take it from?
I am on the way to 175, which was my sophomore in high school weight. That's what I'm going to get to.
When I graduated high school, I was 155 pounds.
Were you?
Skin, bone, and muscle tone.
Yeah. That's what I'm looking for.
Speaking of
skin,
bone, and muscle tone.
On the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, his name from CBS 4 and Fox 59, Mike Chappell. Hello, Mike. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Now, were you at home just kind of watching again the second half of IU and Louisville today? Is that what you've been doing today? Second half?
I didn't. What happened? Did I miss something?
Yeah, they just
not much.
They lost by about 30, maybe 28.
Yeah, 28.
In embarrassing Mike Woodson fashion. Yeah.
I just can't buy into that team for some reason. I don't know why it is. The last few years, I haven't. I enjoy. We used to, when I was in Anderson, we always had the Ray Tolberts and Winston Morgans and Bobby Wilkersons, and now I just can't. I can't get into it.
And now you got the what's his name, Umar Ballo, who half-asses it up and down the floor for $1 million. That's great. That's fun to watch, right? And Mike, I'm going to tell you what. You're more of a target than ever now when you get paid all that money and everybody knows it, and you walk up and down the floor. That's your ass.
That's the whole thing. If you're gonna get it, then earn it. Earn it. And so many of these guys, I shouldn't say I don't follow that much, but don't do it. So that's on them.
Yeah, it is. Josh Downs, long shot to participate on Sunday in Foxborough, correct?
Oh, I think so. Whenever you try to read how the coach describes injuries, day to day, week to week, and all this. When he says it's going to be tough, that to me, that's like it's like he may miss a game or two. That's just in reading between the lines. So I don't think he plays. So their receiver group can be banged up. I mean, Michael Pittman's fighting through everything, back and the shoulder the other day, and Alec Pierce is, he came out of that game with a bad ankle. So we'll see. We're going to see how. Now we know how important Josh is to this offense and how they're going to have to scheme more AD Mitchell, which is we'll see. He's still a little inconsistent for me, but somebody's got to step up and do it. Ashton Doolin's probably not going to play. So all of a sudden that room's getting pretty thin.
Hey, Chap, Chris Hagan, Fox 59 here in Indianapolis. Chap, that was a joke. I was waiting for you to.
I know.
Nothing worse than saying something. Chap, Chap's a tough audience. Okay, good. The three-game losing streak snapped in against the Jets. Richardson with the game-winning drive and takes it in himself. How much of that goodwill was lost by what we saw this past Sunday? Now, granted, the Lions have made a lot of teams look bad, but did people start going, oh, well, that's what we expected with Richardson, another sub-50% completion game? Granted, there were some drops and some miscues, but did he lose everything he gained just from that one game there against the Lions?
I really don't think so. I thought if you can have a decent game with those numbers, I thought he did. In my list of concerns from that game, he's like number 8. I thought he played pretty well and got zero help from people around him, offensive line, penalties, drop balls, not run blocking, tight ends doing zilch. I thought he played pretty well. My whole thing going into that game was I didn't expect him to win, so I wanted to see how Richardson built on his the Jets game, and I thought he did pretty well. I'll take that. Now he's got to complete more. I mean, you've got to be upper 50s. You just have to be. But with the lack of help he got, I thought he played pretty well. He added to the run game, which right now is pretty sick. So I was more encouraged by his game than discouraged, but because he's got to keep doing to where you're seeing growth over these last 5 games. Because if not, then you got some real major problems going into next offseason.
Yeah, he did lead the team in rushing, which that's kind of a backhanded compliment. You don't want him being leading the team in rushing. But, I mean, he's 35th in the league in completion percentage. And remember, there are only 32 teams. He's 35th in the league. What John and I talked about this on the show Sunday night is that penalties are one thing, but to have a season-high 10 penalties, and literally every time there was a penalty, it negated a first down play or a 3rd and 10 or a chunk play. I've never seen a game where every time there was a good play, here comes the flag. It was just, I mean, poorly timed. I guess any penalty doesn't come at the right time, but those were unbelievable.
Well, and again, they lost 98 yards in offense, and you can argue, well, you lost 98 yards. Those 98 yards you got because you aided it with a penalty. And a couple of those penalties might have been ticky-tack, but they called them, so they count. Yeah, almost every time they had a big play, 21 yards to Granson and 30 to Downs and 20 to Downs, and Taylor gets loose for 19. So that's really discouraging. To compete with Detroit, which is probably the best team in the league, if they're not, Philly's right there with them. You can't do any of that. And once they settled for field goals, those 2 of the first 3 possessions, I thought they were done because you can't do that. You can't have your tight end dropping a ball, easiest catch, easiest touchdown he's ever going to have. It's the penalties were just awful, and it's not like I almost want to call it a one-off because they've been pretty good. They've been one of the league's best in fewest penalties. But boy, when this one happened, and he had 3 on Quentin, who's piling up penalties this year. And I think part of Quentin is he's trying to compensate for having rookies on both sides of him, and I think that's impacting his play. But they're not good enough. They're not good enough to beat mediocre teams playing that way, and the rest of the schedule is sort of mediocre. Denver's all of a sudden playing better. But that's what's crazy is all the stuff that's gone on. It's still sort of there for them. But they've got to do their part. You can't keep. Well, Houston lost again, and Houston lost again. Well, that's fine, but you've done nothing to take advantage of that. In any other season, if you're playing well, of course that was a tough stretch they went through. All of a sudden, you're back in the discussion for the AFC South. But the fact that you haven't taken advantage of Houston stepping in it, it's on the Colts to make something of the last 5 games.
Yeah, and going back to Sunday, what sticks in my mind was toward the end of the game, we've got a 3rd and long. It's like you got to throw a pass here, you got to go for it. And then some of these play calls where it's like a quarterback keeper, he gets 2 yards, they got to get rid of the ball. I'm like, I feel like that was something that everyone was questioning was what is up with some of these play calls in critical 3rd down situations.
Well, and it's the fact they can't protect. I thought it was amazing that Richardson wasn't sacked on Sunday. I was amazed because he avoids 3 sacks. He's probably avoided 5 or 6 sacks the last 2 games just because he's that big and strong. And a couple of times they're in. I think Next Gen Stats had him for 46% pressures on dropbacks. 46% of his dropbacks. That's crazy. You can't operate that way. Coupled with the fact that they can't run block. So I understand the play calling, and you're right. But the play call was pretty good on the play that Drew Ogletree, and he drops it. So I tend to put more of this on player performance than I do play calling. I go back to last year where it was 4th and 1 against Houston. Great play call. And the quarterback doesn't get it to the receiver or to the running back, and he doesn't catch it. So I tend to put more of this on the players. But the play calling's been substandard too, and I think that's been impacted by 3 rookies on the offensive line starting, and you're getting next to zero from your tight ends. It's funny, we were looking, and New England, 2 of their top receivers are the tight ends. Is it Hunter Henry and Hooper? And each one of them, let me see, Henry's got 51 catches and Hooper's got 27. Each one separately has more than the Colts tight ends room combined. And that's just ridiculous.
Hey, Chap, on the other side of the ball, it's crazy. You have 3 of the top 4 tackle leaders in the league are Colts, which is cool to say you're making that many tackles, but it also says you're not getting off the field. The defense has shown some improvement, but when they don't tackle, they really don't tackle. And I mean, I don't think that's scheme that's just execution you were talking about on both sides of the ball. When you're in a position to make plays, you got to make some tackles. And it seems like in some key moments all season long, they've just not been able to bring a guy down without giving up an additional 5-6 yards or more.
Yeah, it's one of those where I want to defend the defense because the Green Bay game was kept winnable. In Minnesota was winnable. The Houston games were winnable, but then they don't do enough, to really clamp somebody. It shouldn't be acceptable to hold a team to 24 points like they did with Detroit. Although Detroit, holding Detroit to 24 is pretty good because
Right.
I thought Detroit did what they needed to do and no more. I think they realized that they didn't have to pull out all the stops and score 50. So they sort of did what they needed to do. But, yeah, you're right. The fact that you've got 3 of the top 4 tacklers, it means, like you said, you're on the field too long. You can't get off the field. They've probably faced 100 more snaps than the next team in the league. And that's a complete another game that you've played. Part of that's on the offense for not doing better. But part of it is you're not getting off the field defensively. And, that's why it's just such a strange season there. What is it? The third down conversion rate's 44% for opponents. And it's just tough when you can't get out the field.
So Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59. He's on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Mike, we appreciate you adjusting your day from Thursday to Wednesday. And have a great Thanksgiving. We'll see what happens.
What you're saying is I don't need to go and catch a replay of IU's second half. Is that what you're saying?
You probably
go ahead and skip on that one.
If you want to laugh and watch like guys that aren't in shape half-ass it up and down the floor, then yeah, that's fun. But yeah,
are they in the Bahamas?
They are.
Yeah. Well, they can enjoy their evening or whatever, but good night. That's just awful.
Yeah,
awful.
Their NIL guys did not have a good game against Louisville today. To say, like Ballo had 11, and their starting backcourt of NIL money had a total of 3 points. One guy was 1 of 11 from the floor, and I think they had a total of 21 points out of 4 dudes that they got from the transfer portal with NIL money. So and I know other guys are getting paid too, but
I'm glad I missed it.
Yeah. It is a bad sign. There's no doubt about that. So this and I know everybody's going to say, Mike, it's early in the season or whatever, but this is probably walking the plank time for the head coach here.
Sounds like it. Sounds like it.
All right, buddy. Enjoy the game. Have a great Thanksgiving.
You too. You guys be well.
Mike Chappell of CBS 4 and Fox 59. That's Chris Hagan. That's Lindsey Monroe. I'm JMV. Our tradition is at Brothers in Broad Ripple on a Wednesday before Thanksgiving. I've got a AAA membership package where they're going to come and set you up with 4 tires, do all the work at your place, at your convenience. Matt said we want to give that away, and we'll give that away coming up a little bit later on. So listen to win that. And we want to get you here to win some Colts tickets as well on a Bud Light Blue Wednesday. We'll come back with our friends, Kevin Bowen, top of the hour. Sit tight on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
And the beat goes on, and the beat goes on.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Brothers Broad Ripple, the tradition continues on this Wednesday before Thanksgiving. This reminder, too, winter is coming. As if you didn't know with the Lindsay Monroe forecast we're about ready to dive into right now. Hey, let the experts do the job for you. Join AAA today. AAA Black Friday deal, $50 and one free member visit AAA today. I've got stuff to give away from AAA. So yeah, go ahead and log on to become a member, but I have stuff to give away. Including in this, we're talking new tires, 4, new wipers, battery check, fluids, and more, and they're going to come to you. That is the mobile service that they have at AAA. So it is visit mypitcrew.com or call 866-336-9748. Now, that's not to win. I'll give you the notice when you can win, but that's how you call to become a member today. That's Chris Hagan and Lindsay Monroe. I know Gina just got here as well, so Gloria's in the house. Brian Kelly, the shop. Broad Ripple and Carmel is working here. You got very special stickers for this, which is also tradition of this show.
Yeah, we usually do it every Wednesday that you're down here.
Yes.
We just take old photos that you post on Facebook and make them into album covers, basically.
That looks really good. That was me trying to be like the Beastie Boys back in 1989
you
right
sent me
there.
that last week, and then we just took your one we've done before, but we replaced it with some cottage cheese today. So.
Cottage cheese? That's beer spilled in 1992 on the floor of my apartment house in Terre Haute, Indiana at Indiana State. Can you notice the concert T-shirt I'm rocking right there? That would be a Public Enemy concert T-shirt right there.
Yeah.
I was a member. Me and Chuck D and Flavor Flav and Terminator X were together.
Are those
on that
plaid
tour.
pants?
Those are plaid pants and hiking boots. I fashioned myself like Belle Biv DeVoe back then. I thought I was Belle Biv DeVoe.
What's up, brother?
So did I look like Belle Biv DeVoe right there?
I have to Google that, but probably.
Yeah, you like it. Hey, tell everybody what they can get as far as shirts and
starting Friday
stuff like that.
For Black Friday, Saturday, all that weekend, 30% off the 4 days. Friday through Monday. We're dropping a new Indy 500 jacket on Friday.
Ooh.
Saturday, we've got new Christmas ornaments and Christmas movie shirts coming out. Sunday will be 30% off, and then Cyber Monday, we've got same deals. We got a wheel online you can spin and get some more discount. We got double points day for our rewards members, and yeah, we've got all sorts of stuff.
You guys are studs, man.
Now, what's the demand been like for people walking traffic looking for the Chris Hagan shirt? What's that? A lot of people come in there. I figure
high. We can't keep up with the demand, honestly.
They're on back order right now, John.
And I'm walking in traffic.
They sold the other 2, and now they got to order 3 more. So,
hey, how can they get a hold of you if they don't stop by a store location?
If you don't stop by one of our stores, it's shopindy.com. Honestly, if our stores sell out of something you're looking for, get on there. It's free shipping when you spend $75, and around this time, that's easy to do. So,
have you noticed right there? That is a corduroy Miami Hurricanes hat, very popular
nice.
back in the day, with a gold rope chain necklace on the outside of the turtleneck.
I bet you were real fun to hang out with back then.
Can you imagine? You know how much that picked up right there?
Oh,
there was not a chick around that was not going to fall victim to that awesomeness right there. Look at that.
I mean,
this is lying in wait. BK, I appreciate you, brother.
No problem, man.
Shop in Broad Ripple and Carmel. Thank you, BK. Thank you, BT Do. The Brick Shirt House is over there. Our friends from Bud Light and Zinc here, too. Let's take a break. We'll come back. And Gina's going to join us as well coming up on the other side.
She finally made it.
She's done with her homemade ice cream making, and she's ready to talk on the radio coming up on the other side. Kevin Bowen, too. The tradition at Brothers in Broad Ripple. Stay right there on a Bud Light Blue Wednesday with 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
All right, so you guys do turkey and mashed potatoes and stuffing. We do Bud Light Blue Wednesdays as our Thanksgiving tradition with our friends from Zinc over there at Brothers in Broad Ripple. Thank you for joining us. Chris Hagan is here. Hello, Chris.
Hi, John. Thanks for having me to your holiday tradition.
Lindsay Monroe from Channel 13 is in the house.
It is my first Blue Wednesday, and I am so honored.
It's a beautiful thing. We got to have you. And look, the queen of ice cream is here. The queen of homemade ice cream.
Fashionably late.
Incredibly fashionably late. You're like the Calvin Klein of fashionably late right there. Gloria, also known as Gina Galeros, is in the house.
Great to see you.
We're glad you finally got here.
I'm honored for my first Blue Wednesday.
Do you guys have a very special ice cream flavor for Thanksgiving?
Peppermint stick,
gravy?
all day.
Gravy flavor?
Oh, no. Ew. We have deep dish apple pie, pumpkin ripple, and peppermint stick.
Did you say sweet potato pie?
No.
That's a great song by Domino back in the 1990s.
Sweet potato pie.
What the hell am I putting my hand in right
mouth.
here? Sand or something right there.
It's a shuffleboard.
That's a shuffleboard.
Oh, hell, I don't know what it was. I'm just stretching all out right here and everything. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Gina. Go ahead.
I don't know where I was.
She was listing
I was
these
just talking
flavors.
about ice cream. Peppermint stick, though. We made like 5 tubs of peppermint stick this morning because.
Are you guys better than Baskin Robbins?
Excuse me?
What was the question?
Wow.
How many flavors y'all got? They got 31.
We have 50, actually. 50 at one time, 150 in the book.
You're never going to win.
Is that serious?
Did you see when
Was that serious?
Don Rickles goes up to Artie Lang in that movie? Artie Lang's a big guy, and he goes.
They have no idea what you're talking
about. He goes,
about.
"Hey, yes. Baskin Robbins called. They said they're down to 5 flavors." Because Artie Lang was a big old guy. It was called Dirty Work. It was a Norm Macdonald movie. It's well worth a watch.
All right, ladies, before we get to Kevin Bowen here, are you both off for the next couple of days here, or are you on?
I am. I have Thursdays and Fridays are my normal weekend.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So
Yeah, you're
they
right.
honored that, and so I am off the next couple of days.
How about you there, Gloria?
I'm off too.
Oh, hell's
now
bells.
that I work for the family, I'm like, I'm off whenever I want.
I'm off whenever I want.
She's living the life.
Hey, by the way, let me know. I'm going with the Smiley Bros down to the bucket game on Saturday, and I want to know where your tailgate is so I can come off and mooch some alcohol off of you. That's what I'm looking for. Coming up on Saturday. Is it going to be really cold for me to be walking around down there?
So they make these vests they're like heated blankets, except they're articles of clothing.
On Amazon, right?
Yeah, you can buy it. Yeah, I think that's where I've seen it. You can probably get them at most outdoor places that sell like Patagonia type stuff.
What if I just wear long underwear or something?
I just don't think it'll be warm enough. I think
Really?
you're going to need some kind of heater. So I was talking to Jalea Bruck. She's emceeing the Circle of Light celebration on Friday night. It's
Chuck
gonna be-
doesn't do that anymore?
No, he'll be there.
Is
They're
he
like
wearing his
co-hosting.
jeans jacket? He's got to wear something more
He's
than that.
got to wear
jeans
something
jacket.
warmer than that. He might have it on underneath as one of the layers, but she ordered a heated vest to wear under her coat,
so
and I'm like,
smart.
genius.
So smart.
So
What
you still have
about,
some time to order that before Saturday.
What about Drumstick Dash tomorrow?
Looks good. The pavement might be still wet. Did you see how nice everything's kind of set up down here in your
They're
way
ready to
in?
go. All
They're
the porta potties lined up.
Hagen, are you running on the Drumstick Dash?
You know
tomorrow
what? This will
morning?
be the 22nd consecutive year that I have slept through the Drumstick Dash. I'm pretty proud of that record, and it's going to remain intact.
I was about to say, I was like, are you a runner?
See, that was a joke. I made a left turn on it.
That's what happens when you're fashionably late. You don't get the inside joke there. Yeah.
Oh, call
I am an avid walker, though. I walked my 3 miles today. I just don't run.
Avid layer.
Excuse me?
Yes, I know.
Once
that came out, I go, that didn't sound right.
I just started saying avid runner recently because I'm like, I think I qualify.
Shush, layer. I shouldn't have said it. That has double meaning.
Oh, well.
Maybe a single meaning.
How many people, I'd like to know from your listeners if they want to chime in on X, how many have already called it a day? Like the holiday begins like at noon on Wednesday.
It started on Monday, I think, for a lot of people.
People just check out. They're
Nobody
done.
working, man. Nobody working. Hey, by the way, Kevin Bowen joins us now on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Kevin Bowen decided to call it a weekend, I think, back at 10 a.m. this morning, you and Swebo, right?
A little more work. Actually, I'm leaving our downtown studio. I say this to you every Black Wednesday Eve, John. 10 years ago, I would have camped out the night before, waiting in line to go into Brothers in Broad Ripple. So, plenty of memories where you're at right now.
Did you ever have any strange hookups as a part of this? Because the reason why I bring this up
like
is
from a professional.
It's high school hookup Wednesday night is what this is. This is when everybody comes back from college, and you end up he and she with somebody maybe you had before or never had before. Seriously. This is what it's called. I'm not just making this up.
Yeah.
This has been the rule.
This is a family
I
show.
never went out on the Wednesday before. All
Really?
my friends did.
What the hell did you do?
Aren't you shocked by
I am
that?
She
very
stayed at
shocked.
home and cooked with her mom.
So, Kev,
And
what do you
ate ice cream. Okay.
what do you think, Kev? Wednesday
Yeah,
night, is it meaningful like that for you?
I think this is the 6th year you've asked me something along those lines, and this will
Sure.
probably be the 6th
I always
year
set it
I
up that
attempt-
way, yeah.
that I attempt to dodge maybe the answer there. But all I know is this. It started at Brothers. We would kind of make our way over to Casbah. I was always afraid of the roof in the basement of Casbah caving in on me. Then we'd walk up the steps. I thought I was climbing Everest up to the Red Room. And then if we were still making it a little further down Broad Ripple Avenue, the back door of Rock Lobster is where we would cap the night.
And you got to be careful with Bowen. He grew up here. Like, you can tell tales out of school because you didn't grow up here. So can I.
Right.
But there are people out there that know Bowen, so he can't be
Like his wife.
He can't be
That's
out.
one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
His
But
friends from high school and whatnot. He can't be dishing all the dirt there.
Bowen and we just came to realize when I was at 13 that we grew up together, like
y'all
1
dated.
year apart. No, we did
We
not.
just realized.
We did not. But
Glaro stayed home on Wednesday night and played canasta with her family.
Oh my!
That's what
no,
she did.
hey,
It was euchre.
I was in the streets of Broad Ripple. B-Rip. Did the kids still
No,
call
there
it that?
was. I made fun of that yesterday too. I said my quote was only nerds call it B-Rip.
B-Rip.
And right on cue.
That was
Sobero's cool.
There she swings right in with
I
a
am such a
B-Rip
nerd.
reference right there.
Yep.
Kev, I feel comfortable, though, that talking with Maddie Bowen last Saturday over at Gugman Brewing House, that whatever I say ultimately will come off okay and she will not get mad. Is that accurate?
Yeah, you probably have earned yourself a little bit on that end. By the way, Gina, Wednesday, great to hear both of your voices. Gina, I hope the family's doing great, and your brother as well.
Thank you.
But yeah,
Thank you so much.
I feel like you have probably earned a little bit of that. I don't want to test it necessarily 3 days after, John. I'd like to maybe let it, sit for a little while, if you don't
Sure.
mind. But, there probably is a little bit of that you've got a little longer leash than you did before Saturday.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I think she enjoys our conversations about your personal life.
Well, yes, personal life, yes. Ian and Sheehan, to use the phrase that you had, 10 years ago in Broad Ripple. Yeah, we'll probably save that for off.
Kev, did you get a good laugher out of the second half, especially with IU basketball today? What a joke that was.
Well, if you weren't laughing, you were crying. Yeah, just an absolute joke of an effort. An effort probably is too big of a phrase. And, the thing about it, you can list a million things. This has kind of been a staple under Mike Woodson, getting run off the floor in these neutral site games. You can't give me this excuse of, well, it's a bunch of new guys meshing together. Does anyone know what Louisville's roster was last year and what it is this year? They have 13 transfers on their roster. All 5 of their starters are transfers, and really, many of them were nowhere near the Umar Ballo $1 million payday or Miles Rice or Kanan Carlisle or anything on that end. It's not like Pat Kelsey went out and was able to get, top, 10, 20, 30 players in the portal. So, yeah, it's just been way too common of an occurrence under Mike Woodson, and these trends continue to happen. And if you're Scott Dolson, I don't know if Scott Dolson is the one making this decision, but if you are the people that are making this decision in Bloomington, I don't know how you continue to ignore these sorts of efforts.
Well, Bowen, for one thing, we know that IU is a football school, so I don't know why you should expect anything from the hoops. But I was trying to talk John off the ledge. It's a game down in the islands. It's around the holidays.
God.
Not that you give an excuse because both teams are doing the same trip, but I wouldn't hang the whole season out to dry based on this one loss. As bad as it was, I don't think that's going to be an indicator of what you see. There's a whole lot of hoops left to be played, and you hope to see that money pay dividends, because it's a lot of money these days, and we've seen teams in all sports, they go all in on a season, and they expect to see some dividends off that investment.
Yeah, I don't know if I can go all there, Hagen, on you. You know, I get where you're coming from a little bit, but again, we have seen this before. And I would argue that Louisville, compared to these other teams that Indiana's got run off the floor in these non-conference games, that's not Auburn from last year, or UConn, or, you know, Arizona out in Vegas a couple of years ago. Again, we have seen this pretty annually. And if you want to even talk about a March resume, and I feel like an idiot even saying that after losing by 30, but their non-conference is got nothing of meat on the bone. And I don't know what the Gonzaga score is, but, you know, assuming that Gonzaga wins that game.
61-62.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess if Gonzaga loses that game, Indiana has an opportunity tomorrow. But, you know, again, beating Gonzaga after yesterday or today's effort is probably a ludicrous statement to make. So basically, today's game was so important for your non-conference resume, not because Louisville would have been some great, you know, neutral court win. It's because it would have set you up, again, to get one against Gonzaga, maybe get one against Arizona down the road in this tournament, because the non-conference schedule for Indiana really is a joke when you compare it to other, you know, high major programs there. So I get that it is late November, but past precedent would say I'm not going to bet on this all of a sudden turning around in a massive 180 way.
Well, the good news, bad news is, yeah, maybe you get a shot at Gonzaga, but then it'll be a salty bunch of Bulldogs that want to come out and try to win by 30 if they end up losing this game today, which it's nip and tuck right now. It's the under 4 timeout.
Yeah, I guess, you could probably look at it both ways. But, hey, on to Saturday night, right, for the Hoosier faithful.
Hey, Kev, I look at it differently. Kevin Bowen from the Morning Wake Up Call with Sweebo, he's joining us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, is that you look at these high-dollar NIL guys, and everybody thought, well, there's going to be a new, fresh start, and everybody was excited. And that group was an absolute joke today. The starting NIL backcourt with Carlisle and Rice was collectively a one-shot maker. Ballo half-assed his big ass all over the floor today, not running up and down the floor. That was a joke. He gets $1 million for doing that and 11 points and 6 rebounds. And then, you know, Goody off the bench had 7 points. So the major NIL brought in guys through the transfer portal let them down just as much as Mike Woodson once again let them down.
Yeah, I was looking at before the game. I was just curious. I knew very little about Louisville's roster. I know obviously Chucky Hepburn transferred from Wisconsin, but I was looking at these like portal rankings from last year. I want to say Bala was like 2 or 3 in the rankings. You know, Miles Rice and Carlisle were both in like the top 25 of the rankings. Louisville didn't have a single transfer portal addition in the top 75. And yet today, with a bunch of portal additions, a team that got run off the floor by Tennessee a few weeks ago at home, and what Louisville did, they absolutely did the exact same to Indiana. And, this is what was circled on the calendar. It kind of gets back to Hagen's point a little bit earlier. Like, your non-conference, this was it. I mean, this is the 3-day stretch that you have to give you anything of substance in the resume, especially as we look ahead to the Big Ten, where yes, I think the Big Ten will, have some nice wins on it, but it's not a Big Ten conference that is littered with, top 10 teams or anything like that. So I would say there's even more emphasis on, again, these types of games. If you're Mike Woodson entering this season, you know what you've done on neutral courts against quality competition. It hasn't gone well. So for that focus, you would hope to be there, and then for this to be the result today, I think this adds to it.
Yeah, already some eyes rolling with Mike Woodson for the season, but I want to transition to football and, of course, what's going on Saturday. I mean, this is going to be some different weather conditions than both teams have played in. I mean, it's going to be bitterly cold. It's going to be completely different, but we know that we need to see some big numbers. What type of victory should fans be expecting for the Hoosiers over the Boilermakers? And is there like a critical number that you're looking at to make IU look any better in the standings?
Yeah, I don't know how much, IU can do themselves. I mean, obviously, if you're an IU fan, you would want a cover. Does 42-7 versus 52-7 look that different in the eyes of the committee? I don't think so. Obviously, a 10-point win versus a 30-point win probably looks a little different. But I think at this point, it's just make sure that one of those games that you need to go your way happens, whether that's Syracuse beating Miami, whether it's, South Carolina over Clemson, Vandy over Tennessee. Like, I didn't think last night's rankings were crystal clear for Indiana. I thought SMU jumping them was a bit notable, and I still don't think the ACC would get as many bids as the Big Ten, but there's at least a little bit of a pathway for that if you want to look at those rankings. So I think it's just important for Indiana to treat Purdue like, the worst Power 4 team in all of college football. And I'm not saying it needs to be Notre Dame bad, as it was earlier this season, but, as long as you are comfortably in control throughout the 4 quarters, then I think the committee will at least look at it and say, all right, nothing more negative on the Indiana resume. Now let's see if, any of these other teams, mainly Clemson. I mean, Clemson's the one that I think can really help themselves if they beat South Carolina. That to me is a huge, huge game for Indiana. I think it's a noon kick on a Saturday.
Ugh, Clemson. No. Stay out of it. Get out of there.
Yeah, how do we bounce back after last week? It's been so smooth, and we knew that Ohio State was going to give IU a run for the money, but how do we bounce back from last week?
Well, going from Ohio State to Indiana is like going from, the 72 Dolphins to, I don't know, a bunch of people with brothers tonight at 11 p.m. suiting up to play football. So, that probably helps. You would like to think that was a bit of a wake-up call. And, honestly, what is Purdue's psyche for Saturday night? Half those players will probably be in the portal by sunrise Sunday. You can make a statement. Maybe their entire coaching staff, or a huge chunk of it, will be looking for a job as early as Sunday. So, if you're Indiana, considering the weather, like you pointed, it's just like you jump on them early, and you would think that would do something. Now, to be fair to Purdue, they have, whether it was the Illinois game earlier this season or even last week at Michigan State, big first-half deficits haven't totally derailed them. But, again, in 15-degree weather or whatever it's going to be Saturday night, when now you're at the brink of the finish line of a season that is probably the worst in the history of the program, you would think an early lead from Indiana could do some significant damage to Purdue staying in it for 60 minutes.
That's Kevin Bowen right there, the morning wake-up call with KB and Andy as he joins us here on our tradition at Brothers and Broad Ripple on a Bud Light Blue Wednesday. We appreciate that. Charles Arbuckle talks college football and the rankings with us coming up at the bottom of the hour. And get ready for this. I just got a text from Brian Evans, the former Hoosier, absolutely wants to come on to the 5 o'clock hour. So that should be really good. Considering right before Thanksgiving with Brian Evans calling in here in the 5 o'clock hour. I did want to mention this about Purdue. I brought this up yesterday. You think Boilermaker fans primarily, Kev, would rather see them go out there and make a game of this on Saturday in the bucket game, or just absolutely get their ass beat and then give more leverage and reason to make a coaching change after the season?
Well, let me start here. Maybe someone needs to give Mike Woodson a stream to our station from the Bahamas here, Brian Evans.
Yeah, well, I know. And don't be connected with Brian Evans in any way, or nobody from IU will ever be on your show again. Remember that. So that's the Hoosier hysterics have taught us all that, I think, from recent history.
It's funny bringing that up about Purdue fans. I still think if you are a true fan of the Purdue Boilermakers, there is hatred in the rivalry. I laughed at these, Indiana fans last year, like, oh, no, I want to see Purdue do well in the tournament. It's like, do you really? Deep down, it's a rivalry. Don't you hate them? You can be, Matt Painter seems like a good dude and whatever, but, you want them to lose. And I think if you are Purdue fans, to me, it would – I don't know, all of a sudden, I guess, if winning that game greatly shifts the line of thinking for Mike Babinski or pulling off some crazy upset, but it certainly would ruin the greatest season that Indiana University has had from a football standpoint ever. So I think Purdue fans are probably still there. I don't know. Maybe some people would say, no, that might all of a sudden change the administration's thinking on Ryan Walters and et cetera, but I don't know. To me, fandom is about largely your rivals too, and some of that is the hatred of your rivals, whether it's Colts Patriots or Patriots Bulls back in the day, or certainly college-wise Indiana Purdue. And I would think the opportunity to get the hate win and ruin that would kind of overrule anything else. But I don't know. Maybe people are that upset with Ryan Walters and they're nervous about all of a sudden a win extending his tenure any.
Lindsay, go ahead. That was just James saying break. Right in your back, talking in your backswing as he usually does right there. Go ahead, Lindsay. One more. And then
one
we'll
more.
break here.
And we'll switch gears out of college to the pros. I know you spent some time with the Colts today. What are the vibes coming out of the locker room there coming into this next NFL Sunday? Colts taking on the Patriots.
Yeah, it's about as close to a must-win as you're going to get here. Late November, I guess early December when Sunday gets here. So New England stinks. They've got tons of issues, tons of offensive line issues. So the Colts are a little banged up offensively. You know, Josh Downs' status seems very doubtful. We'll see if Bernard Ryman can get back. He did participate today in the walkthrough. But, yeah, the Colts probably have some decisions to make on offensive line, health-wise and play-wise for this week. Starting lineup change potentially at right guard. So, again, New England's not very good. If you have any sort of hope at running the table or, you know, making things very interesting down the stretch, Sunday's a must. And I do think Sunday's a bit of a kind of a survival. I mean, both these teams have played now 13 straight weeks. Both of them have the final bye week in the NFL coming up next week. I know Detroit, early in the season, teams that played the Lions, they would lose the next week quite often. That hasn't been the case recently, but you know, the Colts got pretty banged up in that game, so is that anything to pay attention to on Sunday? But I would expect and hope that the Colts would get it done on Sunday because New England's not very good.
Kev, you and the family tell Maddie Bowen and Brad Bowen, the patriarch of the family right there, to have a great Thanksgiving, okay?
Gina, Lindsay, John, Chris, happy Thanksgiving to all. Thank you, brothers and Broad Ripple.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
And next time, I hope Rosie and Max come hang out with me when we're all out together. They didn't seem like that they were too up for that on Saturday. I kind of understand it. I'm a little intimidating, I know.
I think you and Rosie had a little nux, and you know she said bye, and you know I'd like to see Uncle John again. Is how she referenced you after we left.
There you go, buddy. There you go. All right, Kev, have a great rest of the week, man.
All right, guys, have a great one.
Kevin Bowen, morning wake-up call with KB and Andy, 7 until 10 a.m. here Monday through Friday on The Fan. Lindsay, anything to add before
This is actually ended up being a pretty good game here.
Yeah,
Gonzaga up 3 over West Virginia with 23 seconds left in the second.
The loser gets IU. There you go.
All right.
Out of the losers. Lindsay's here. Gina's here. We're going to take a break and come back, okay? Queen of Ice Cream. We'll do that coming up next. Brothers in Broad Ripple. It's a Bud Light Blue Wednesday. Your chance at Colts tickets while we're here. AAA Hoosier Motor Club. Your AAA membership. Get that today. I'm going to have something for you to give away a little bit later on. Listen to win. And Brian Evans, the former Hoosier, has texted me. And he's going to join us in the 5 o'clock hour. So buckle up for that. Coming up in just a bit. Don't go anywhere. It's 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
He's my best friend. He's my pal. He's my homeboy, my rotten soldier. He's my sweet cheese, my good time boy.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, Brian Evans, the former Hoosier, 5 o'clock hour. I'm having flashbacks right here watching West Virginia because that's Tucker DeVries, who just knocked down a couple of free throws to tie it up with Gonzaga. Tucker DeVries played for, if you remember, Drake last year, and Tucker DeVries lit up my Sycamores in the Mo Valley Championship game over in St. Louis last March. Tucker DeVries, his dad's the coach, and he went to the transfer portal, and he is at West Virginia as well, as that's down the stretch. About 5.9 to go. Gonzaga with the ball, and that game is tied at 71 apiece. Brothers in Broad Ripple on a Bud Light Blue Wednesday. Thank you for joining us. Lindsay Monroe is here. Gina Glaros is here.
Hello there.
Maybe the islands in the stream. That is what islands. You like that song? In the stream, that is what we are.
Should we talk about this?
Maybe a little bit later. Maybe a little bit later. We do, however, have a guest right now, and I want to introduce you guys because he's joining us. He's a friend of the show. Former Colts tight end, fantastic collegiate player, and on Sirius XM, he does college football coverage. He's our good friend this holiday season, Charles Arbuckle, who joins us now. Hello, Charles. How are you?
Can we rely on each other?
There you go, old man. I can always count on you, buddy. Always.
Well, hey, if there's some music involved, I think we got it covered, right, man?
Well, the fact that I forget who you grew up with. You grew up with one of the ghetto boys in Houston, and that is about as awesome as it gets to me right there. Heroes, Charles. Heroes they were for me back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, we bonded on that pretty quick back in those Mark Patrick days.
My mind has always been playing tricks on me. I'm curious about your mind on where IU was last night in the college football projection show, and what could happen to them, both good or bad, going into this final weekend of the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're still in a good position. They put themselves in a nice position by being undefeated, but then Ohio State is kind of what I thought they would be, and they flexed their muscles, and they've been playing well here lately. I think the biggest thing is just taking care of your business against Purdue. You really can't control what's going to happen with the college football playoff ranking. The SEC and the Big Ten are both well thought of. If you look at this every single week, we know that's kind of the case. And would they pick a IU that only has one loss over a couple of teams over in the ACC? Probably. So I think they're in a good spot still. They just got to handle their business this week, coming up against Purdue.
What kind of style points do they need to exercise in the bucket game Saturday?
That, JMV, as long as I've been covering this thing with the college football playoff committee, I never can tell you. I mean, is one loss better than a good loss? They have all these different things, strength of schedule, eyeball tests, all the, we could play a drinking game with the number of times I've heard a bad win versus a good loss. Who the hell ever thought of that? But they come up with all those ways of coming up with different things. I think the biggest thing from a coaching perspective or a player perspective is you have to really control what you can, because there's always going to be craziness at the end of the season, that last week.
Right.
And what IU doesn't want to do is play down to the level of what Purdue has played most of this year and end up losing and then giving it to a committee that has a penchant for coming up with some okey-dokes, as we know in the past.
Now, it's Charles Arbuckle joins us from Sirius XM college football coverage, the former NFL Colts tight end, in fact, on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I could not agree more, and it's so weird. People were telling me after that loss at Ohio State, immediately following, this is kind of the same old IU thing. But, Charles, it didn't end up that way, because the same old IU, and it's not that on the field, but it wasn't the same old IU in terms of good fortune. They got good fortune with the havoc that was upheld in the game of college football the rest of the Saturday, especially in the SEC with what went down. That was good fortune that this team would never have seen ever in the past. And I thought that they soaked that up and got a lot of nice breaks to end up, even after that loss on Saturday, where they are going into this final week of the regular season.
No, I agree with you. And that's what I mean by the last few weeks of the season always tend to have kind of craziness that happens. And, you can go back 20 years, maybe even more, where it just kind of happens that way. I mean, a team like, Ole Miss, who would have thought that would have happened to them this past week, what happened? So, and then now they have to come back and play a Mississippi State team who has been awful, but that doesn't mean that they're not ready to play because it's a rivalry game. So I do think Kirk Cignetti and his crew have to just kind of keep saying, look, all we can control is what we can control. And that's us playing well and playing back. I mean, I thought at times they played well against Ohio State, but Ohio State, all those 4 and 5 stars kind of tended to show up when they needed to. And I think that was the thing that was the difference. I think now what you have to do is, you got to let that go. And now it's Purdue, because if you don't play at the level that you played at most of the year, this Purdue team, this is their bowl game. This is their opportunity to knock you off. And so I think that's the part for me with IU, with all the things and favors that were granted this past weekend, with all the zaniness in college football, Alabama getting throttled, like that. This gives them an opportunity to stay in the mix. And I think that's what they have to think about. How do we win this game? And then everything else kind of takes care of itself.
Hey, Charles, what's most impressed you about this season that obviously has been a renaissance year, a year unlike any other for IU football with that program in year number 1 of Kurt Cignetti? What stands out as most identifiable and eye-popping for you and the positive with this group and the type of season they've had till this point?
I think I told you even before they played UCLA, their physicality. I don't think they've wavered from that. They're not a very always up front in particular, O-line and D-line, they're not super athletic. But, man, when you break down the tape, those guys up front, they're tight ends, they do a really nice job of just coming off the ball, and they're going to make you call uncle if you don't show up. I think that's been the big thing. We also, Rourke being able to make plays in the passing game, I didn't expect that. I knew he was good, but I didn't expect to see them be able to be explosive when they needed to be. Later in the season, guys get hurt. You're starting to see that. But the one thing that they hang their hat on, and they did this at JMU, that's why I'm not super surprised. When you bring 40-something guys, you bring a coaching staff over, that's how JMU played. I mean, they played like a FCS team. We always think about North Dakota State and those schools being physical. JMU was a physical ball club. And when you came out of games, I can remember even talking to some of the coaches that were, FBS saying, those dudes mash. They show up. And if you beat them, you got to earn the win. And I think that's what you're starting to see with IU. They don't care what the score is. They just keep playing like cyborgs until the end of the game. Even when they were losing to Ohio State, I still saw them competing. And I think that's the one thing that Cignetti and his staff have to be proud about. You don't like losing any games, but by God, if you come out of a game with them, IU now, you have been you're going to have to show up each and every play.
Hey, Charles, final thing with you before I let you go. To me, I said this yesterday, this 12-team or this playoff has been even better than what I thought it was going to be. Would you agree?
JMV, I told people I was so excited about the opportunity to see this only because it gives us, 20 to 30 teams to continue to talk about. We're not just talking about, there's 6 or 7 teams. We're getting to talk about teams that you wouldn't have thought of. UNLV. Think about that a few years ago. They wouldn't be involved in this. They have a chance now, and I think that's the part for college football fans that they're excited about because I get to go call Mountain West games, and I got to see UNLV earlier in the year. Now they have a chance against Boise State, who has a guy like Ashton Genty. I think that's, to me, is what makes it so much better now. You get a chance to see that, and in the first week, we've never seen playoff football on home field stadiums. I bet you that's going to be awesome, and I can't wait to see that.
Hey, have a great Thanksgiving, man. We'll have you back on when things are certainly more solidified and ironed out, and we'll talk it up before that playoff. But I always appreciate you, man.
All right, man. Y'all have a good one. Take care now.
It's Charles Arbuckle, the former UCLA Bruin, the former Colts tight end. He's on Sirius XM. And he is a fantastic dude. Back at Brothers in Broad Ripple with Bud Light on a Blue Wednesday. Lindsay and Gina both here. Our friends are right here hanging out.
That's right.
Gina's off for the rest of the weekend.
Evening?
Huh?
Are we going out tonight? Or
No, are we going?
For Thanksgiving.
You're going back home and going to bed.
No, I'm not.
That's what you do.
She took a nap today so she could stay up.
I'm calling you out. Well, I'm calling myself out, I guess. You're still mad at me because we were supposed to go to the Morrissey concert and you're on. And then I wasn't feeling good and I was sleeping.
Yeah.
How was the concert?
It was awesome. I met now I'm going to forget his name right now because that's the way I work.
I saw the picture,
I met, not Morrissey himself, but I met the guy that owns the Patron Saint downtown.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's an EDM DJ.
Okay.
And, God dang it. Come on, John. Slater.
So anyone do a show?
Slater Hogan is the guy. Yeah, he's a world-class pickleball player, evidently, too.
Dang,
and I guess I played basketball with him before. Great guy.
Okay.
Absolutely great guy.
So you're
We had
going to
lot
go
of
do
good
a set
conversation.
is what I'm hearing.
You know what? I'm a horrible mixer. I don't beat mix at all well. I'd love to learn. But my son, Blake, loves to do that, and I'm going to try to get him a lesson or two. But apparently this guy Slater knows a bunch of EDM artists. So, yeah. Pretty cool.
Like you grew up and you go out and stuff with all these DJs. And you don't really you're just in your own little world.
Right.
And just recently, like the art of that, it is a craft.
Yeah.
It's amazing the talent that goes into being a DJ. It's wild.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, too, we were going to be in Carmel, as I mentioned to Lindsay a little bit earlier, for whatever they're doing up there with the ice rink and this time of year.
Kindle Mart?
Yeah, we're going to be up there on Sunday to do our Colts pregame huddle. There's going to be a viewing party for the Colts game.
Fun.
But it's going to be cold, so I think they pulled the plug on that, literally. That, because it was so cold. Yeah.
What happened, Linz?
It's just cold. Yeah, I mean,
cold,
it's going to be like 18 degrees with a 9-degree wind chill. Sunday morning. Mm-hmm.
So
very cold.
Who pulled the plug on it?
No, the Colts did.
Oh,
okay. Gorman did.
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
I think Gorman, Matt Taylor, somebody made it.
Yeah,
We were going to be up there to do on Sunday, which I'm off tomorrow, and I'm off Friday, and I'm off Saturday, and I'm back on with the Colts pregame huddle on Sunday, but I have been on every single day since Labor Day. Every day. Like Monday
we were talking about
through Sunday.
Working.
And I get to take a break.
Good for you.
I get to take a break. What are we doing for Thanksgiving tomorrow, ladies?
I am going down to Greenwood to my aunt and uncle's house and cousins. My dad has COVID right now. So he's in bed. I'm sad. I'm sad. Doesn't it seem like every holiday, at least in my family, somebody's sick? Somebody.
Maybe they're just faking it to get out of the conversation.
What?
Yeah, but so we're all going. We're going to eat all the food for him. What about you guys?
I'm going to go. I have Thursdays and Fridays off, which is nice. So I usually get Thanksgiving off. So I'm going to go over to my family's. Sleep in the morning, not run a 5K.
Is Josh going?
Yep.
Cool.
And we're going to take our dog, Mr. Hank.
Yes.
Mr. Hank.
He's going to go see the fam.
Mr. Hank is going?
Now, Linz, do you help cook?
I'm bringing a pie that was pre-made by a chef here in town.
Good. Good
and I usually
pre-made
bring
pie.
the wine.
What kind of pie is it? Pumpkin?
Coconut cream.
I do like that.
Ooh.
If that were something I could eat right now, I'd probably eat that right now. I'm having smoked turkey and cottage cheese and Greek yogurt. That's what I'm doing. Actually, I'm going to go.
Where are you spending it?
I am going to go play some hoop in the morning with my dudes at the CLC in Greenwood, and then I'm going to go down to Greene County. I'm going to slide by my mom's really quick and wait a little bit and hang out for a couple of minutes, have some smoked turkey from the Odin Locker down in Odin, and then come back up and screw around. That's it.
Love that.
Then rest a little bit.
Watch some sports.
On a
You should stop
Friday.
by Greenwood.
Greenwood. Oh, man, the family.
Wow.
Greenwood, huh? How big a family are we
invite.
talking here?
Not
They're Italian, so 85.
No, like 15 of us.
Oh, that's not bad.
Not crazy.
Yeah.
But every year I say, as I'm getting older, I'm like, I'm going to help my mom and I'm going to cook and everything.
And then she's like, Gina, it's
and
okay.
then I'm like,
I'll
no,
just
but
do
maybe
it.
tonight I'm going to go out and I'll I'll bring the wine.
I'm going to the bucket game on Saturday, too. We'll talk about the bucket game coming up on the other side. Hey, Brian Evans is going to be moved back to 5:15. So 5:15 for the former Hoosier about IU and that lack of effort and that loss to Louisville. And it looks like now that Gonzaga is down 6 to West Virginia in overtime,
That's right.
looks like it's going to be the Mountaineers of West Virginia moving on and IU getting the third-ranked Gonzaga Bulldogs coming up tomorrow in the Bahamas. We'll talk about that and a lot more. Brian coming up after 5. AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. I've got something very special from AAA to give away. That is coming up. Listen to win. It's 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
Talk about your Psalms. Talk about John 3:16. Austin 3:16 says, I just whipped your ass.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Carl is the engineer here doing a bang-up job per usual. Sing it, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Island. Oh, wow.
Oh, my God.
Up.
What the hell's happening there? Messing up the lyrics. That's what we're doing. Brian Evans, 5:15 today, by the way, for Brian. All right, AAA members, you know what I'm talking about, how important it is, especially as we head into the winter. If you're not, you need to become one today. I don't want you to get stuck out on 465 messing around or anything like that. AAA has a Black Friday deal going on, $50 and one free member. And all you have to do is visit AAA.com today. That's AAA.com today, or stop by one of their office locations, $50 and one free member. James, are you ready? You want to do something right now? This is how we give back on this show. And last time we did this at Morse Reservoir, when we were out there back in the summertime, you guys loved it. So we're going to get you ready for the upcoming winter. Number 9 at 239-1070 will win a full My Pit Crew service call courtesy of AAA. And they're going to bring 4 new tires, new wipers, battery check, and fluids right to wherever you are, whether it's at your home or at your office. They're going to bring it right to you. That is the awesome My AAA Crew Pit Crew going to be coming right at you. Again, you can check it out at AAA.com today. But number 9 at 239-1070. James, make sure that you get that dialed in right there with number 9 and to be a part of that, because I know this time of year it is incredibly important. And I'm actually looking at it, mypitcrew.com right now. That is mypitcrew.com, where you can find the incredible convenience of them bringing whatever you need to you and your car, truck, or van. Number 9 at 239-1070 will get that incredible service courtesy of my friends Matt and Matt. By the way, Matt and Matt sponsoring Laney, where I run lines, courtesy of Laney, too, at AAA.com. Become a member today and get that great Black Friday special going on, AAA.com, or stop by one of their locations. Do that, and do that right now. Lindsay and Gina rejoin.
Hey, running lines.
Right, yes, I'm going to run lines. We're going to videotape me. We know what lines are, running lines. Do you have to do that in hockey back in the day?
Yes.
Did you?
It's just a new term.
Correct.
Running lines.
Well, back when we were in school, they called them suicides, which is probably frowned upon anymore.
Right, sure.
So, yeah. Or gassers. They're called gassers as well.
Yep, I have heard that term as well.
So, yeah.
Did you do that in hockey?
I did. It was always, punishment.
It was punishment.
It was horrible.
See, running is always a form of punishment, even with the drumstick dash.
Have you guys ever done drumstick dash before?
I have not, no. I don't run for enjoyment.
You're going to be down here in the morning.
Yeah.
I could be. Or in bed.
Hey, we know where you're going to be there. Sleeping it off coming up tomorrow morning. All right, Gina, Lindsay, rejoin. I'm John. Thank you for joining us again. Thank you to my friends at Zinc for having us, as usual, a tradition in Broad Ripple at Brothers. We come up with the 5 o'clock hour. We got some Anything Goes coming up in the 6 o'clock hour as well. But with the IU embarrassing loss today, by the way, they get Gonzaga coming up tomorrow in the Bahamas. With that embarrassing loss, you knew you wanted to hear from Brian Evans. He has responded. The former Hoosier joins us coming up in a little over 15 minutes. Don't go anywhere. It's 93.5, 107.5, The Fan.
The Ride with JMV. 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
All my friends inside the AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live, you don't need to be looking at me, but you get Lindsay and Genia live, locally breaking.
Half of your face is in the shot.
I know it is.
You just
It's
gotta
my good
scooch
half.
over more.
That's my good half.
Did you see the back of his head, by the way?
She's
Show her
making
your
fun of my
haircut.
haircut.
Show her. He doesn't know that there are there's racing stripes in the back of his head.
Who did that to your hair?
Debbie from Great Clips.
Did you,
Debbie?
Did you ask for racing stripes in the back?
See, here's
She
what I
started
said.
her Thanksgiving partying a little early.
I said, do whatever you want. I don't care.
It is uneven.
And she did.
Back
Is it?
there.
It's not perfect.
Did you notice this? Did you notice?
You didn't even know there
noticed
were stripes back there. It'll grow fast. Guys' hair grows so fast.
Yeah,
it doesn't
I
matter.
don't
even see it.
In a couple weeks.
I don't.
you'll be
Nobody
good.
sees
Just
that.
a couple of weeks, and you're on the radio, so who's gonna notice?
Who cares?
I care about my presentation, ladies. Come on.
Have Gina take a picture of it in the break and show you what
Is
it
it
looks like.
that bad?
No, it's not that bad.
Carl, don't be a horse's ass, Carl.
It reminds me of Happy Gilmore.
look at it.
When the guy has a screw in his head.
Did you
and
know
he's
that
like-
was your hair?
And he's like, you can barely notice.
Oh, yeah, that's not good, is it? Yeah,
As
that's not
JMV
great.
finds out live what he actually looks
I
like.
still love Debbie.
Well,
I'm going to go
yeah.
back to Debbie
She's
again.
probably just playing a little joke on
yeah.
you.
Looks like it's just a halo for an angel.
Sure.
Half a halo for half an angel.
Sure.
Right there. That's Lindsay and Genia. They're a bowl of fun. I said Genia.
Genia.
She's a
You
genius.
call me Gloria and prom dress.
Gina and Lindsay.
You don't even know my real name anymore.
They're a bowl of fun right here. Can you tell? Making fun of my haircut and everything. Hey, we would love to see you at Brothers and Brother, but we got plenty of time here. We're not going anywhere. It's the night before Thanksgiving
Bring
now.
your friends.
And
Come on.
thanks for sending me that, Carl. God dang, you sent that to me too, huh? You think I need to get a refund? Do I need a refund?
No.
Nah.
No, I don't need a refund. I don't mind. I don't ever see it. I don't
Here's
care.
a question for you. How many times does your hairstylist get to mess up before you go to another person?
I don't
Because
care.
it is like a relationship. It's like
I want it to be like 10 minutes and out the door, so I don't give
This
a
was
damn.
clearly not a mess up. This is intentional.
Oh, yeah, I go, hey, do what you want. I just want to get the hell out of here.
He's going to go in next time. There's going to be Nike swoosh in the back of his head. He's going to have no idea.
You know what? I did grow up in that era when they did do the stuff in there. I never did that, though.
Well,
I've had a variety of haircuts that were kind of, thought as stylish in the day. So I had a crew cut, what we call a flat top once.
Mm-hmm.
I had it. You've seen the one where it's really long and like dangling down here, kind of
Yeah.
the Kurt Cobain-ish
you ever have a mullet?
thing. I've never had a mullet. The
That's
mullet,
next.
yeah, maybe kind
You're
of
like
a mullet,
back.
but they
Everybody's
are.
like,
yeah.
these guys, I see them walking around. I feel like they want to be a Morgan Wallen, and they like have this funky old.
Does he have a
haircut.
mullet, Morgan Wallen?
Yeah.
I think you could do it.
I've never heard one Morgan Wallen song in my
I
life.
bet you have, and you don't.
There's no way I have.
Yeah,
At
you
least
have.
not knowingly.
Yeah.
Am I missing out on Morgan Wallen? Is he great?
Lindsay
I like
likes
the
him.
songs.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't. He's done a couple things that I'm like, I don't know if
She's not a fan of him
like
as a person, but the music is catchy.
Catchy music from Morgan Wallen. He sells out everything,
I was
right?
a hater, but then and recently I'm like, I'm gonna give him another chance. His songs are catchy. You're right.
Yeah.
So.
I've never heard one. Knowingly heard one. All right, Lindsay's not working. Coming up here, Channel 13.
That's
but the
right.
weather forecast looks like what? Coming up here. Not a good one from you.
Yeah,
Well
if you're
done.
out driving right now, I mean, this is going to be. We've talked about this storm system for quite a few days, just
You did.
because this is a big travel day. It's going to rain basically all night tonight. See a little snow mixing in for mainly east central Indiana overnight. Could see some slushy light accumulation on grassy surfaces, elevated surfaces, but that should all pretty much melt away by tomorrow morning. Get a decent day, 42 a high on Thanksgiving Day, and then we're going to be hit with an Arctic cold front for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, into early next week. So I know we're making plans. I think Josh has already bailed
You don't even
out.
have to say cold front. You just say Arctic front, right?
Arctic,
Yeah.
Arctic blast. He's
Because it's not
bailing
like we're
out.
going to think it's going to be 80 when you say Arctic.
So is this a
right?
weather-aware day for 13?
We did not. Just because that's like if the
Yeah.
snow was going to accumulate, then yeah. But I mean, we've all driven in rain. It just stinks because the volume of traffic will be
Yeah.
higher. But
It
just
will
stinky.
be. No doubt about that. So what's going on in the world of Gina Glaros?
Gosh, still applying to some jobs.
Are you?
Busy with handles.
Where'd you apply? Let's give you some love and see if we can't get you a gig here. Locally?
Well, I was thinking about doing the radio, actually, with just like part-time with 93.1.
Did you talk any more about that with John Herrick?
He's like, he offered full, and I was like, it's just, trying to manage that. So I was like, yeah. So he's kind of waiting, trying to figure that out. What else have I applied to? Just
you can't
some
say.
Things
You
up
just
in the air.
you know you can't. You're not saying.
Yeah, because that'll jinx it. You can't talk too much about it until it's actually like a for sure thing, Do
you have like a time frame of how long you feel comfortable being on the beach?
No.
You're like, gosh, I've been unemployed for 7 months now. I gotta get on. Like, or is it just kind of like you're good?
Yeah.
Like you're just, you seem like you seem happier than you've ever been.
I am happy. It's just been there's so many parts of the business that I missed. You know that. Like you feel like a huge part of your identity is like.
Well, we've been doing it for
a
like
living and
I mean,
news, and
not
like,
as long as JMV, but we've been doing it for like 13 years. You do something for 13 years. I mean, it just becomes a part of your life.
So you
thank
miss
you very
that,
much.
But like the business has
20
changed.
years.
20
years.
I've done this for 20 years.
You radioed for 20?
I've been by myself in the afternoons for 20 years, and then Mark Patrick's producer and did it as well for a 5 previous. So 25 in all. 20 doing this.
See?
At such a high level, as you can tell.
Yes.
Yes.
Very professional.
Yeah, very, very professional. But no, see, you're not really on the beach because you're hanging out with us. So your name is, do you put this show on your resume?
I think so.
Sure.
I mean,
Because that means you haven't.
You tell
though.
me. Should I?
Why wouldn't you?
Well, because I just kind of like.
Because you get when you come on here, you're gonna. That's why Hagen comes out here all the time.
Like
this is like her social highlight of the week.
Really?
Would your colleagues at 13? Are there any would like to come on every week?
Oh
like
my
you guys
gosh,
do?
yes.
I bet.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, Matthew would, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, Matthew wants to come on with me. He was asking.
Who's this Matthew character?
Well, Matthew Foltz. He was our co-anchor.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you now.
Yep. So he would love that. I try not to run into too many people at work because of the hours. I'm just kind of like in and out. I don't have a lot of human interaction that time of day. But yeah, I'm sure.
Yes. So we're keeping you out there and active.
I know.
Right.
Free
Doing
advertising.
this.
Although if you're
I think
on,
you better put me on the resume there.
Her social media is great. She made this great reel as she posted. And if you don't follow all of us on Instagram, you should.
What are you doing with your life?
Oh my gosh, her just reel. Oh.
Such an influencer.
She was dipping ice cream in chocolate, and it was just so satisfying. It was a great content.
Pops.
How much are those per pop?
I think like $4.
Are they really?
That's worth it.
How much does it cost to make?
I gotta ask my dad. I don't know.
He's got COVID. Don't ask him.
Don't ask him now.
That is Gina, and Lindsay is here as well. If you missed IU basketball a little bit earlier today, it was an embarrassing effect down in the Bahamas. They get absolutely depantsed by Louisville. They're going to get Gonzaga, I believe, coming up tomorrow. And it was embarrassing today. Brian Evans, the former Hoosier, and I know you guys can't wait for that, is going to join us coming up here in about 5 minutes or so. So be ready for that. Guys, we got the Colts coming up. It seems like, I want to say, on Sunday and we're on a Friday, but this is a Wednesday, still a long way to go. What do you guys think about the Lions' loss this past Sunday? Lindsay, starting with you.
I picked the Colts. Against my better judgment, because I picked against the Colts the week prior. So I was like, I had to put the Colts because I needed to. I knew it was going to go down that way. And the Lions are just so good. Like, I'm on, Team Lions for Super Bowl at this point. So I kind of knew how the outcome was going to be. It kind of stunk not even scoring a touchdown. But that's kind of how, I think that's one of those games where you just give them a pass because you know how good of a team that they're playing. Yeah. So going forward with knowing the schedule for the rest of the season, they don't get any more of those passes.
Yeah.
So I think from here on out, it's like, okay, you played your good team. Now let's actually see you play.
And there's a slim. They got a slim opportunity to still make the postseason right now, and you still want that as a goal, but you got to take care of it. Now New England's a team that you can take care of, but without Josh Downs, that's going to make it more difficult because if there's been one dude there the entirety of the season, if they have one dude on this team, it's certainly Josh Downs.
Yeah,
so that'll be tough to live without, Gina.
I felt like I agree with Lindsay. It wasn't a surprise. I watched the first half of the game, and I'm like, okay, shocking. And then I took a nap during the second half. But I will say that I felt like, at least in the beginning, AR, I was pleased with his
He had
play.
some moments.
The effort is great. The effort is completely different.
He played like he had at least something, a little something to prove.
And he didn't get a lot of help. And there were some moments and he didn't help himself either, but he didn't get a lot of help. Here's the thing that stood out to me is, we talk about all this stuff, this negative stuff, but you get 10 penalties. You get flagged 10 times like that. I mean, it's Thanksgiving tomorrow. That's way too late in the season. Really, any time of the season you don't want it, but this late in the season, it didn't look like a well-coached team on Sunday a lot of the time.
Right.
That's tough.
And that was the chatter after I had asked the question earlier. Some of these play calls, it's like when Steichen got here, was making these play calls, it was like, oh, we trust him. This is great. He's making some great calls. And then there's just some very questionable, not that I know anything about play calling in NFL football games, but
who cares? You're an expert right here. That's what
matters. Like as a fan, you're like, what the heck? What was that?
Yeah.
Like you had a chance to get.
You weren't the only one. Everybody else was asking too.
Yeah. So stuff like that.
I'm sure I'll be talking about the Colts tomorrow, like many of us, with my uncle. And we were talking about Steichen, and he's like, he's such a good coach. Like on paper, I mean, JMV, what do you think the future holds for him?
I think at times you kind of look at him and you go, would he be better off doing one thing or the other? And if you're the head coach, just be the head coach and preside over everybody, and not also be that involved as the play caller as the offensive coordinator. I think it's worth the conversation, and I know that it's not going to happen. He's going to be both without question, but I think it's worth having a conversation about that very thing, because sometimes when you guys kind of wonder, what exactly are they doing here? It seems like maybe there's a lot going on, too much on the plate for somebody to handle. Maybe a little delegation of authority in that department would help. It's worth, and I think reasonable, to wonder and to ask.
What brought up the whole tight end conversation all of a sudden?
Because they stink.
Well, we knew that.
Yeah.
But why all of a sudden is it like coming to the forefront of the conversation?
Because was
it particularly stinky last week?
Yeah, well, because it's funny. It was kind of made light of in a good way the week prior with the Jets. I think they had 4 overall receptions at that position, and that was like the high watermark of the season. And you're thinking, all right, well, they're going to try to get these guys involved. And then last week, you had a couple of instances where, Drew Ogletree dropped the touchdown pass at that position. That was a big deal. So now all of a sudden it's magnified that they didn't go out and get better at that position, even though everybody, even the fans, knew that you needed to do that, and you were unable to get better at that position. And at least this past weekend, it looks like, and really the entirety of the season, on a team that needs more weapons offensively for a young quarterback, it looks like it came back to bite them. And that's why that came up last week.
Yeah, I mean, you were banking on the running game with AR, so it's like, maybe we don't have to focus as much on that. We're focusing on, we have.
Right. It was.
So.
Lindsay and Gina with me, John. We're in Broad Ripple. The tradition continues on a Bud Light Blue Wednesday at Brothers in Broad Ripple. We'd love to see you. I just kind of want you to see Carl's red pants while you come here. Those are some terrific red pants right there. Is that red denim?
Like crimson.
Are those Union Bay or Bugle Boy jeans you're wearing right there, sir?
Levi's.
Levi's? Are those Union Bay? Did you ever wear Union Bay jeans back in the day? Union Bay or Bugle Boy? No. Are those Bugle Boy jeans you're wearing? No?
Should I know? Bugle Boy?
You guys don't know that?
I know. I've heard of Union Bay.
Old? Am I that old?
Also, Levi is very popular these days. Like
we were
all
just
of the
having
pants.
a conversation in our friend group, and we were like, okay, place to buy jeans. You mentioned Levi's.
There's a place in Mooresville that's all jeans all the time. I can't remember what it's called right now. It's right there next to Gray Brothers.
Yeah, we'll Google it.
So you can eat like a ton and then go in there and buy some extra stretchy jeans.
So educate me. Bugle Boy?
Bugle Boy is 80s jeans.
Oh.
Are those the wide legs?
The commercial was, and then you got the dude
Google
hitchhiking and a real hot chick pulls up and goes in a car, rolls down the window, cranks
window, down the window,
and says, "Are those Bugle Boy jeans you're wearing?" And he says, "Yes, they are."
Well,
yes,
good advertising. Horrible. Still talking about it.
Yeah, well, I got a memory like you wouldn't believe.
Yes,
those
you
horrible.
Do.
Right.
Oh, those
cargos.
are so bad.
Now,
those are bad.
Let me tell you this: they didn't have Bugle Boy jeans in Terre Haute back in the day when he attended Terre Haute South. Our friend Brian Evans, the former Hoosiers on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Did you wear Bugle Boy jeans back in Terre Haute in the day?
I had a sweatshirt, player. Yes, I did.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Did you get that at the Honey Creek Mall back in the day, huh?
Creek Mall.
Yes. Hey, Evans. our girl Gina right here spent a lot of time in the Hope back in the day.
With Lindsay.
I was
we
there
both
too.
did.
I was there for 4
Same time.
years.
4 years in Terre Haute.
Hey, I don't care. If you don't know what the Root store was, and if
Yes.
you don't know the Root store, then you don't know Terre Haute.
Well, I don't know the Root store.
Listen.
Must have went out of
Yes.
before I got there.
No, this is not Elder Bierman, people. This is the Root
Correct.
store. This is Bugle Boy. This is a burgundy
Yes.
sweatshirt
Yes.
that I wore in my 7th grade photo for school.
Yes.
And it was straight up Bugle Boy. And I'm telling you what, people were jealous. Tony Evans, my mom, she made it happen. She made all the magic. And I wore it for picture day.
Let me tell you this, Brian Evans. Not only do you bring up Roots for a good reason, basically was a Lazarus or an LS Ayers of that time, but hey, those even older like me would remember when the Meese store was located in the Honey Creek Mall. Remember Meese? MEIS.
Don't ask me if I remember Meese. The Meese family. Are you joking me? I went to Meese. My mom drugged me to Meese. I sat and I knew exactly where to sit to wait for her as she walked around Meese. I did it a million times in my life as a hostage. I was a hostage at the Meese store 100 times.
Oh, man, that's Brian Evans stirring the echoes of the greatness that is Terre Haute. However, unfortunately, we'll now have to venture to the depths that was IU basketball against Louisville today. You know, of a string in the past with Mike Woodson of ugly games, we might have witnessed the all-time ugly today against Louisville.
Hey, listen, you're going to have to do better than that. We all know that's true.
Yeah.
You got to put the ball on a tee because I'm ready to go. You say you let me go. You got to tee me up, man. That was unbelievable. And we have I don't even know. I've asked around. Nobody really knows about the NIL and the I guess the highest paid rosters in the country.
Yeah.
From what I'm told, we're top 3. So we have acquired because we have money and we have backers and we have these people that want to see him do well that are putting up a bunch of money for us to be a winning program. And so we have a top, call it 5. I think it's top 3 or maybe even number 1 budget to win. And we just got waxed. We got waxed. And it looked really, really bad. All right, so I'll pass it back to you.
Yeah. No, and unfortunately, I've been all over Ballo today because he was like the number 1 ranked player in the transfer portal. And he, as a guy that reportedly makes $1 million in NIL package money from IU, was 11-6. But what stood out, he half-assed it everywhere today. I mean, he walked, he stood, he didn't run the floor, he didn't look like he gave a damn whatsoever. Now, it's one thing, like Miles Rice, he missed, he was 1 of 11, he was awful. Carlisle has yet to hit anything. He was awful today, too. Both of your guards were terrible. It's one thing to talk about that, but this guy not only was not any good, but he didn't look like he gave a crap. And that's been all too familiar of a story over the Mike Woodson era right here. Just dudes playing down below the competition, not caring. And a lot of IU fans, including yourself, you were called out for being too harsh. And, it's too early in the season. There are injuries or whatever. He didn't have his guys, all these excuses. And I think, for the most part, IU fans today have decided to go ahead and be done with the excuses and just describe it in the fashion in which it is. It needs to end. That's how bad it was today.
Yeah, well, hang on. So, interestingly, nobody reached out to me preseason, to take the pulse of at least what I was thinking about our season and where it may go and all these things. And I'll tell you this. I was super excited, fired up, trying to have an open mind about what this might be. We watched the off season. We bought all these guys. That seems very foreign to me, right? To buy players, but I guess that's the new normal. So we're going to buy players, and we're going to bring them in from wherever. So we're going to get the guys that have, I guess, played decent basketball, but want money, and they're willing to go to Middle America to get their money, and we're as much as I don't like that that's what it is, it seems like that's what it is. Like, so you got to buy players, you got to pay for them. They're gonna come to they're gonna come to Bloomington, Indiana to get their money, and we're gonna root for them. And it's not you're an Indiana fan. I am. I grew up loving them, and I've known the entire roster my whole life. And I want to know the players. I want to know where, what high school they went to and all that kind of stuff, right? And so today we've got one of the top 3 or top 5 highest paid rosters in the country. And we laid the biggest egg that I've ever seen in my life. No effort, no enthusiasm, just 5 different guys on an island by themselves, bitching at each other, layup after layup, after dunk after layup. And for the record, Louisville, not a good team. They're not. This is not. If any Indiana fan is watching this and tries to lie to themselves and go, "Oh wow, Louisville's really good," no, they're not. We have no effort, no direction. It was embarrassing. That game was embarrassing on so many different levels. And when they pan over to the sideline and they show the staff and the disbelief on their face, it's hard for me not to laugh.
So Brian Evans, the former Hoosier on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline, IU absolutely taken to the embarrassing woodshed, as he brought up there, by Louisville in the Bahamas earlier today. You mentioned you were excited about this. Just with the new players that were involved in this program now through the transfer portal and on NIL, what actually were you excited about? Because I was thinking about what was the redeeming quality today, Brian. There was nothing. There's absolutely nothing. There is nothing you can go on. I was looking for it. People want to bring, say, this guy or that. There was zero there. And it just kind of looks like with Mike Woodson, all these products that have been bad that you have talked about, that you have ripped in the past, it seems like it's all kind of the same, yet under different circumstances. And this is why this all starts with the coach and his staff. And that's the first thing that I thought about over anything else today when Louisville was doing that to him, especially in the second half.
Oh, man. So Louisville, as this plays out, you know what? One of the things I thought about as I watched the game, and I love college basketball, and I remember when Louisville made the hire, and I got to be honest, it's not a name that I knew, and as I watched this thing play out, I knew that Louisville tried, they went after a lot of big names, and then they got their guy, and it reminds me a lot of Curt Cignetti, because Curt Cignetti is not a name that I knew, and I'm not a big football fan. I'm just not. And when that name popped up, I was like, okay, this, where's he from? And, started reading about him and realized this is a mid-major guy that's just a ball-busting guy that's going to work his ass off. And The players are going to respect him. He's not going to back down. He's going to be tough. And so I was excited. We got that guy and wasn't sure what would happen. Had no idea this is what would happen. But it's just it's a pretty awesome thing. I think for Louisville, they didn't get their guy. They swung big, and they thought they could get Scott Drew and whoever else.
Dusty. They thought they were going to get Dusty. Yeah.
Yeah. They ended up going to getting a mid-major guy that I'd never heard of, but he's I get the feeling he's like Kurt Signetti, where you haven't heard of him, but he ain't taking any shit. He's tough, and so I watched the game today. I was sitting with my in-laws, and I said I'm just going to tell you guys, within about 3 or 4 minutes, I'm going to be able to tell you if we're going to win the game, and I'm going to know if this guy's for real. And you know what? They came out of the gate and they played really, really hard. They're not the most talented team. Indiana had way more talent than Louisville. And anybody that's an Indiana fan, and if they're pretending that's not the case, they're fooling themselves. Louisville is not incredibly talented. They played so much harder than we did. We're a country club now. We're a country club. Everyone's high paid, doing well. They're having a blast, and it makes me think of you're a movie guy. It makes me think of Rocky III, when Rocky's doing really well, and Clubber Lang wants a piece of him, and Rocky's living a great life, getting paid, doing commercials, and making a lot of money, and Clubber Lang's nobody, right? He's on the street, and he's doing chin-ups and working out by himself. Nobody's paying attention to him. That was today. We are a country club of high-paid mercenaries, and we just got waxed by what I think is not a very good team.
So Brian Evans, the former Hoosier on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline right there. Hey, Brian, I got to hit a break here, but we'll see what happens coming up tomorrow and the rest of the way this weekend, and I'll grab you back coming up early next week, and we'll make more of an entirety statement and see if anything at all changes. But I think most IU fans completely agree with your assessment on that. The country club mercenary nature of this team is not doing that. There was zero fight in what we saw today. None whatsoever. And really just effort in general. And that's why I brought up Ballo. I mean, not running back on defense, standing after a turnover and staying on one end like he was playing on court 12 at the Hyper. I mean, you can't be – yeah. You can't have it, and it was problematic. But we'll double back next week and get you back on with an all-encompassing view of what happened in the Bahamas, okay?
No, that sounds good to me. All right, man.
All right, take it easy. Brian Evans right there, the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I got to get to a break, and I wanted to hear a little bit more, but we'll see what happens coming up tomorrow and the rest of the way. But as you well know, Brian, the former player, holds – this whole thing up, the program up to a high standard, in that it hasn't been met here recently, and it was at its depths today, ladies. It was a bad deal.
It was, but then you see Gonzaga got a loss too, so maybe it's just the atmosphere. Well, I mean,
I think it was pretty much them.
Yeah, it was them. I'm trying to come up with anything. I know.
It was pretty much them.
Man.
Lindsay and Gina rejoin on the other side. We're at Brothers in Broad Ripple. It is a Bud Light Blue Wednesday. Thank you for joining us with Colts tickets to give away and more. Stay right there. It's 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
It takes him a second to get on the stool because he's under 5 feet tall.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. We're in Broad Ripple today. Brian Evans. We have become your show for dropping S-bombs. I don't mind it, whatever. Whatever works. Do you hear Carl in the background go, oh! Hey, you run Tony Katz's show. You're his producer every morning.
Yes.
Has anybody cussed on Tony Katz's show? Because he doesn't take calls, though, does he?
No.
He doesn't take calls? Well, I mean, that wasn't me taking a call. That was a guest. Yeah, it was a guest. It is a frequent happening. I don't care, to be honest. So you turn her mic on, right? That's Gina Glaros here.
Hi.
What?
Hi, guys. What happens when somebody swears? Do you what's the punishment? Do you have to pay something to the?
I applaud it. I think it's great.
No punishment or anything, like for TV.
I don't think so.
You're like, oh,
no.
gosh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So what did what's her name get when the girl down at the IU game dropped the F-bomb? Did she get in trouble? She couldn't. How did she not get in trouble?
No. She didn't get in trouble. She had a great recovery.
Yeah, she was great.
Sam, yeah.
What's her name? Sam something?
Sam
Jones?
Johnson. Sam Johnson.
Sam Jones is the expressway here. I'm sorry. Sam Johnson. Sam Johnson is it?
But a lot of times though, you have to. You have to pay something to the network.
I'm not paying jack squat. I can tell you that right now. Hey James, did you get it? Did you get the S-bomb that was dropped? And it's been frequent. And listen, I don't care. So it doesn't bother me. James, you get it, though, with the delay?
I did indeed dump it.
Well done. Did anybody hear it?
See?
I'm not sure. It depends on if the dump button was working properly.
You tell at JMV 1070, did you hear Brian Evans drop the S-bomb right there? Anybody hear it? Now, some could be online, and it's not going to get dumped online.
Mm-hmm.
Like 93.5 and 107.5 will get dumped. But I kind of want to hear if anybody heard it. Hey,
we had a big old red. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, okay.
At my last station, we had in the control room. We had a big red button, and that was like same thing. Like, hit the button if anybody swears, and nobody really knew if it even worked.
This is a true story. When I used to have it in front of me, occasionally just to kind of spice up the show, I would hit it. So everybody would ask if what did he say?
Yeah.
I would just hit it for that reason. I would just hit it for the hell of it.
Like the unnecessary.
Yep. So here's something. Dan Huber, longtime fantastic producer, Channel 13 WTHR, even before Gina Glaros right there, before Lindsay Monroe. Dan Huber, he heard it on the radio live.
Oh, he did?
He heard it.
Wow.
So it went through, James.
Didn't work.
Yeah, I just had a caller tell me that it went through loud and clear, so our dump button's not working. Good to know.
See? Those buttons.
I like those
We
tests.
have those, but they don't work.
I thought it sounded good. I don't know about anybody else. I definitely like
everybody.
Everybody's saying I heard it right now, which is all good. That's Gina Glaros. BT wants to know the name of the ice cream place.
Handles Homemade Ice Cream.
Yes.
We have 3 locations on the north side.
And
then
new
my
one.
aunt uncle has one on the south side.
And you got a new one. You got a new one coming up too, don't you?
We have one in Zionsville in the works. We don't know exactly what the location is going to be. My dad, we're debating right now, kind of going through it, but somewhere probably off of Michigan and 116th near downtown.
Michigan and 116. What are you guys drinking right there?
Those
Diet
are
Coke,
Daisies.
nothing's fun. Just to keep us up all night. We got to have some caffeine so we can go out on the town.
I was just chatting with one of the fine bartenders
hold our breath
here.
on that.
Okay.
She said by 7:30 you're not going to be able to see the floor in here. It's going to be that busy.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen 7:30 in 2 years on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
College kids out.
The college kids all in
I'm
here hanging
excited.
out, which is good.
I like getting started early. We're setting the tone for the night.
You do
right
set
now.
the tone for the night. There's nothing wrong with that. Hey, by the way, the Pacers, Trailblazers tonight, 7 o'clock the tip. 6:30 coverage begins with Pat Boylan right here on The Fan coming up later on tonight. What are we all looking forward to, not just for tomorrow for Thanksgiving, ladies, but also just for the weekend in general, sports-wise or otherwise? What are we looking forward to? Lindsay, starting with you.
Oh, my gosh. Food. I went to the gym this week.
Nice.
Prepare.
Yeah.
Okay.
Prepare for the food.
What'd you do? What did you do to work?
I just switched from Orange Theory to F45.
Why is this? Was Orange Theory not getting it done for you?
No, it was great. I love actually like my last class when my membership was lapsing. I like kind of had like a little tear because I've been doing that for like 4 years. Yeah. I switched because Josh, he was like a home worker outer, like he had like a punching bag in our basement. I'm like, could you not put that in our house? So he finally joined. He did F45, and he liked it. And I think it's like motivating him to go to the gym and. I was like, I don't know, I'll do it with you. He's trying to get all jacked for the wedding coming up next summer. And I'm like, I'll do it with you. This is a nice little bonding workout experience. So we're going to do that for a little bit. But so, eating the food, making up those calories that I've burned. And hopefully seeing a pretty big win for IU. Now, he was going to go down there for the game on Saturday, but I think just the weather's like, we'll see.
Yeah, not great.
I think I'm going.
You should go. Everyone should go.
I'm going with the Smiley Bros.
Everyone should dress
Dave
appropriately
Smiley
and go.
Oh,
the ZPL has some bros, and they wanted to take down to Bloomington the Indianapolis's best DJ, and that's me. And they say Smiley. Oh yeah, Smiley's second.
Like
he's number 2.
Like radio disc jockey or like actual like.
Did you guys never listen to JMV Takeover? Only when you weren't even listening when you guys called in that time.
We've called in before. We've sent requests via.
Yeah, but you were somewhere else, I think, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh yeah. We're gonna go down there and see.
So
what's
the plan? What time? What time do you need to leave Indianapolis to get down there to have enough time to tailgate?
I think they're gonna swing by and get me on the far south side.
So you're on the way. So
yeah, I'm on the way. So
yeah.
now I don't have to go to
Are you all
Carmel.
going to like go out in Bloomington, make a day of it?
You should go down there at like 3.
I'm going to ask people where their tailgates are, and I'm going to come by and get some alcohol.
Perfect.
That's what I'm
Even
doing.
better.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to go down with those guys for a little bit, hang out. J-Law, mutual friend of all of ours that comes out normally. J-Law has got a tailgate going down there, so I'm going to do some of that. Just kind of hang out, have a good time down there. So that's on Saturday, even if it's cold, and then obviously I'm back on the radio coming up on Sunday with the Colts pregame huddle. And the Colts on the road in New England. By the way, Josh Downs, he was described as a long shot today by Shane Steichen, the head coach of the Colts. So that is going to be tough, but obviously a team in New England that is very beatable. And you could say the same thing about the Colts, but a very beatable squad on the road in Foxborough coming up on Sunday. And your coverage begins Sunday morning with us at 10 a.m. I believe, by the way, too, that is 93.5, 107.5 The Fan, and 97.1 Hank FM coming up on Sunday. So what about you, Gina, as far as Thanksgiving and the weekend and sports and all of it? Is it making $5 ice cream pops?
I believe they're $4.
That is?
Yeah, $4.
I'm sorry, $4 ice cream pops?
I'll probably stop in the stores. Oh, gosh. I mean, what so many of us are doing, just eating, loving life in our sweatpants with our families.
Ugh.
You wear sweatpants on Thanksgiving?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. My cousin just texted me. She's like, hey, what are we have two of my cousins and me, and we're like, what are we wearing for Thanksgiving tomorrow? And I'm like, anything
my
with
grout fit.
Stretch in the pants. That's what I'm wearing.
Stretch. That sounds good right there.
Gray sweatshirt, gray sweatpants.
That's what everybody wants to hear right there.
Anyway, and then, of course, watching IU and
IU and Purdue in the bucket game. That's a Saturday night, which should be fun. So I've not been out in Bloomington in a while, so I'm going to go out in Bloomington a little bit. I used to.
You should.
I mean, I was back even before you guys were there. Kilroy Sports Bar, obviously. Kilroy's original upstairs, Nick's, all those places. I'm a big fan of the Crazy Horse. Back then, you had Bluebird. You had Jake's back then. And the Hooligans was one of my favorites. Hooligans was awesome. Dunkirk Square.
The Bluebird.
Back in the day.
We were talking about really making a day of it. I mean, the last time I was like, I went out, it was visiting friends in college, and now like with this resurgence of IU, and like I know people will call me out for being such a fair weather fan. Like now I'm like so into it, and I'm like, we need to just go out down there and have a day and go to all the bars before and after the game. So we still got to do that, Linz. But
that's a pipe dream with you in mind. But go ahead, yes.
Wow, he had to get that in.
Yes, I
know.
did. The dig.
You give me so much. I have the best of intentions, and then when it comes down to it, I'm like,
Right
if you
down
have
the toilet.
plans, just know that you have to tell Gina like an hour before you actually need to leave. That's what she needs to meet. That way we might leave on time.
Right down there.
I can't speak. I'm awful. I'm always late.
On the island.
You are a grudge holder.
I'm a grudge holding
so
son of a gun.
I
right
really
there.
have to like butter you up to get back on your good side.
You do.
Yeah.
It's problematic. I hold that thought.
Okay.
We'll take a break and come back on the other side. Hey, look, Carl, I ought to have you answer this. This is my mom calling right here. You know how unenjoyable this call would be right here to pick that up right now. I'm sure it's something I have done inaccurately that I will hear about coming up here. Live in Broad Ripple, the tradition continues. Bud Light Blue Wednesday at Brothers, Lindsay and Gina and John, and we've got some Anything Goes for you at 239-1070. We can start that next, maybe at the top of the hour. Whatever you want to do at 239-1070. Anything goes, still to come. Happy Thanksgiving and holidays to everybody. We celebrate on what should be a fun Wednesday night here in Central Indiana. It's 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
with JMV.
Ahoy, Ploy.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
We've got Anything Goes coming up after 6. I got to thank everybody for joining us today. Busy show. Brian Evans a little bit earlier. The debacle that was IU against Louisville today we discussed. Charles Arbuckle, the football playoffs. The projections out yesterday. Right now they got IU, Penn State in a first-round matchup. Yeah, I was just asking me here, could IU improve? Well, there's Dan Huber right there, man. Former WTHR sports producer extraordinaire. Woo! Dan Huber is in the house right there. Yes. Charles Arbuckle joined us. We'll talk about that a little bit more, what they had to do, what IU needs to do. What they need to do on Saturday is just win, and you need to win convincingly. Just don't let Purdue hang around at all. That could, if things happen that aren't so fortunate, could be some undoing, but I still see them being a part of it and doing what they need to do coming up in the bucket game on Saturday. Charles Arbuckle, podcast 1075thefan.com. Kevin Bowen a little bit earlier, too. And Mike Chappell, along with Chris Hagan, back in the 3 o'clock hour. Lindsay Monroe and Gina Galeros also in the house today.
That's right.
Ladies, good to see you. Am I teasing you a little bit too much?
Never. I love
never.
it. Means
I always like
it's in good fun, right?
The people get on me and say, you're kind of mean, and I'm not trying to be mean. We're just trying to have some stinking fun.
No,
stinking fun right here.
We can give it back.
Trying to do.
That's right.
Exactly, giving it back the way that we should. All right, any other interest? We mentioned the fun at home and Thanksgiving and the celebrations.
Dish. The side or the main. I don't know what.
Well, there's Thomas Hilbert right there of Premier Weight Loss.
Thanksgiving tomorrow.
There's Thomas Hilbert of Premier Weight Loss.
Hello.
So he's like, yes, please tell me about all the food you're eating.
55, my brother.
All right, cottage
55
cheese,
down now.
not including cottage cheese.
Like what are you gonna miss the most?
Yeah.
I dig on mashed potatoes and gravy. I like having a gravy lake in the middle of my dinner or lunch. Don't you guys?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Me, it's either cheesy potato, like a hash brown casserole, or like this corn casserole that's got like corn mix and like sour cream and like all the good stuff in it. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. I'm stuffing with gravy.
Oh, yeah, with gravy's good.
Gravy makes everything
Oysters
better.
or no?
Not a big oyster. Is it?
Oysters
that a thing for Thanksgiving?
oysters in the stuffing.
I love oysters.
Yeah.
No, we don't do oysters in there.
Yeah.
Do you like oysters in general?
No, I hate them.
Really?
I think they're disgusting, but I like it when they're in stuffing. I don't know.
Galeros,
a weird
you like
thing.
oysters?
Yeah, I mean they're okay.
Would you let them go out of the shell? Club?
No.
I went to Florida once upon a time, a lot of times, back about 10 years ago. I came back with a 45-pound bushel bag of fresh oysters out of Apalachicola Bay and went down to Greene County. We had a pool party in a friend's backyard, and I just cracked them open and put them on the grill, and they're so awesome. So I love them. They're good. I love oysters. I love seafood.
I like them when they're like baked, like a oyster Rockefeller.
Oh yeah, you like it when they put all the crap on them, right?
I love the crap.
The crap's got to be all.
It's basically just like
bacon,
a vehicle to get the
cheese.
horseradish in my mouth.
So yeah, smoked turkey and cottage cheese and Greek yogurt for me tomorrow.
Sounds great.
Yes, I'm very excited about that.
So can you not veer off for one day for Thanksgiving?
I don't
you
want
just don't want it. You
I don't want to.
it.
He doesn't crave it anymore.
I am very routine oriented too. So if I fall out of a routine.
Yeah, ruins it.
I'm messed up. So, yeah, we're going to keep going and see what we can do. 55, and Thomas is a big reason why.
You look great, JMV.
Oh, that is so
doing
My mom, we were just talking about you, actually, because we took a picture recently, and she was saying, like, how great you look.
Oh, that's very kind of your mom.
And a lot younger.
A lot younger. There she goes. Hey.
That's the ultimate compliment.
That's the ultimate.
And that's the truth, but also, am I back on your good side?
Oh, yeah. What's that?
Now we see through
55. I turned 55 in December the 16th.
Yeah.
Coming up here. So 55. I feel great,
she did.
though.
You look great.
Well, thank your mom. That's very kind of your mom.
Yeah.
We have never met, have we? Have we met?
No, you have to meet my mom.
Never
We've
met
been trying to get her back out, and this isn't like she's a homebody. And so maybe you'll have to swing by tomorrow from
at the
Thanksgiving.
fan.
Yeah. I'll be on the south side hanging around for a little bit. There's no doubt. So yeah, Jim McCann says please have Lindsay do her disgusting just one more time. Jim McCann's listing in Southern California.
Oh, the oyster, disgusting.
Yep. J-Law says, talk about your love for coleslaw. I hate coleslaw. It's gross.
Are you one of those people that don't like mayonnaise?
I like mayonnaise. Coleslaw is like white water is gross. You ever look at the bottom of coleslaw and you go, God dang, who's eating that white water crap? Frank Lucas says, please have more than tuna and cottage cheese on Saturday. Nutrition bars for the bucket game. I've had 2 nutrition bars today. That's what I've eaten.
That's it.
2 protein pluses. 20 plus packed in protein. That's the other thing, too. Everything I've been eating is all protein.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. That's what most people should do.
And I'm going to get up and hoop in the morning at about 8 a.m.
I think that's the key to it. If you get up, you don't have to necessarily run a drumstick dash or whatever like that. But if you get up and you move your body a little bit, you get your metabolism going. I feel like you eat. The more you eat, it doesn't matter because you got your day started off right.
Got a great group that likes to play basketball. We do it before Thanksgiving, before I go down south and then come back. We'll do it again on Friday. Play again at Southport High School on Sunday, so we'll get a lot of good days in with a good group that they don't hurt you. You know what I mean? They play hard, but nobody gets hurt, so that's good. All too familiar watching dudes go out there and get hurt all the time. I don't like that.
The risk goes up. In high school?
I did.
Through high school?
Hey, you know I passed a kidney stone during a game?
You don't say.
I scored. I was a sophomore in high school, and I scored 11 points in the second half after passing a kidney stone.
Dang.
Yeah, my coach said I was out of shape, which was probably true, but I also just passed a kidney stone here, clown.
Jeez.
All right, then? Yeah, you have something happen like that. I thought, what in the hell's going on here? And it came out the hard way. It came out, there's no easy exit, is there,
JV,
Carl?
people are trying to have fun. We're having a good, fun, lively time right now. I want to hear this.
Hearing the host about a 15-year-old having kidney stones is a good story right there. All right, ladies, come back. You guys want some Anything Goes? I think that will kick off Anything Goes. My kidney stones and more. 239-1070. James puts time on the clock. Me and the ladies with your questions that you ask. Anything Goes. Coming up next. AAA Membership Lounge via YouTube Live. Become a AAA member today. Remember their Black Friday deal. It's a big deal coming up on Friday. Check that out and become a member today. 93.5, 107.5 The Fan.
The Ride with JMV.
It takes him a second to get on the stool because he's under 5 feet tall.
93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
All right. I think the ladies can talk this up. This is country right up their alley. You guys like Florida Georgia Line?
Yeah. I don't think
guys are
they
bros.
exist anymore, though. They
Do they
broke
not?
apart.
Did they?
They started their solo careers. I think
Tell
so.
you what, there's no doubt these two clowns go on stage with tube socks stuffed in their pants. There's no doubt.
Interesting observation.
These guys.
That's the
these
first
guys
thought
have country,
that you had
they
about
have
Florida
yes,
Georgia Line.
country bro written all over it, don't they? There's just a lot of country bros out there.
Yeah. Country has definitely made a resurgence. I remember back in the day, my boyfriend at the time was like really trying to get me into country. I'm like, no. And now.
Was he a hillbilly?
Not really. No. We grew up in the same neighborhood, but he had some southern
He was a city
ties.
boy that trying to be cool.
He had his family was southern, but anyway.
Did he go to Carmel?
No. He went to Brebeuf.
Oh. Well, we go to Brebeuf
but
now.
now I'm like, I feel bad for giving him any stuff.
Why do
for
you
it.
feel bad?
I almost said that.
Yeah, that's okay. James be scrambling to try to dump that too back
So
in the
I'm like,
studio.
I love country. It's that's all I listen. A lot of what I listen.
Really? That's all you listen? God.
That's not.
There's
all
a lot
I'm
of
sorry,
good
it is so
rock.
damn boring.
Country
for the
No,
most
there's
part.
EDM country. Have you heard of?
I have not.
Okay, I'm gonna send you some EDM country songs, and I
What
think
is-
you're
what
gonna
is
really like it.
EDM country.
Like when you have a DJ that has a beat, but it's like a country musician, but it's upbeat and it's fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll send you some
Electronic
examples.
dance music country.
Yep. Like T. Brown has a lot of good stuff out.
People know me. If I'm going to listen to country, it's going to be old school country.
Old school country.
Well, I
It's
like
gonna
that
be
too.
Willie
But it's
Nelson, Waylon
it's just
Jennings.
a different vibe.
That doesn't make
It's
sense.
just completely different.
That doesn't surprise
It's its own
Kenny
genre.
Rogers.
Yeah,
Oh, Kenny
yeah.
Rogers. The late, great Kenny
stuff,
Rogers.
too.
Yeah.
Ronnie Millsap, he's still alive.
Well, my dog's name is Hank after Hank Williams Jr.
Hank Williams
so
Jr.
we are
Yeah, we'll
a
work
big fan
right
of old
there,
school
too.
country.
Hey, 239-1070. If anybody is out there and want to hit some anything goes, tell James, and we'll bring you on here before the end of the show. James, how many minutes right now do we have on the clock, just out of curiosity?
We have about 5 minutes left.
5 minutes left. You got 5 minutes. I'm going to mark my watch right here. 5 minutes for anything goes at 239-1070. Pacer pregame coming up at the bottom of the hour. Again, I am off tomorrow. I am off coming up on Friday. No JMV takeover. We do not return until New Year's Eve for the JMV takeover on B105.7. And then back with you coming up on Sunday, 10 a.m. with the Colts pregame huddle. Hey, by the way, I think two things.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do a JMV takeover, I think maybe on the 21st at Joe's Grill in Castleton on a Saturday night, kind of live there, me and DJ Skids. And then we're going to be, I think it's on the 15th, right? The chili cook-off with Nally
Yes.
and Joe's Grill.
Or the 15th.
It may be the
15th.
14th. You may be right. So,
No,
yeah.
the chili cook-off is the
Yeah.
15th.
Okay. I'm really excited for that.
The chili
Yeah, it's
cook-off.
All the
Sunday.
money goes to
Peyton Manning's Children's
Children's Hospital.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it is a
so-
tradition that he has done that over the years, and it is always a hell of a time. All right, anything goes. Let's bring on board. I know he's been waiting for a minute. My man Fulton is there. Hello, Fulton. How are you?
Hey, John. How are you, man?
Fulton, I'm great. Are you playing your ukulele tonight?
I was going to, but I forgot about it today.
You forgot your ukulele?
No, I forgot to practice my ukulele for the big concert next Saturday.
Oh, man. You're doing Joy to the World on the ukulele, right? You're like Don Ho.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wow.
It's outstanding.
Yep. So are you going to be able to make it, John?
When is it again?
December.
Fulton, honestly, I don't know what I'm doing in an hour. So, that's my problem right there. I know.
It's next Saturday, so.
Next Saturday, yeah, I'll mark it down and hopefully so. But yeah, I gotta try to get right. Hey, Fulton,
and,
how about
Gina, you're welcome to come as well.
yes?
Yes. What is that accent? Is it in English?
He's from Tipton. Yeah, he does sound like he has an English accent,
Doesn't
though.
he?
Yes. Well, he's an accomplished
Yeah,
actor and everything. Fulton's he's an I actually went to see Fulton last November.
Okay.
Up in Tipton, do do a play, be a part of a musical. I did. That's how we met. Hey, Fulton, have a great Thanksgiving with you and the family.
I sure will. Hopefully I'll see you in Como on Sunday.
You got it, buddy. Thanks, Fulton. Have a great Thanksgiving. Fulton right there without the ukulele. Mark's up next on Anything Goes. Hello, Mark. How are you?
Hey, you guys. I am so damn happy if I can say that on the radio.
Everybody says what they want around here, buddy, so go ahead and fire away.
Here, I get to be the first obnoxious neighbor. We light up our house like Christmas Town, and my new addition this year is my first inflatable little things you plug in. You know, he's a 20-foot Santa, and just got him straightened out where the damn there it is again. That he'll stand up on his own, trying to put it on a timer so I don't have to babysit Santa. But yeah, we're the first ones in the neighborhood for miles to have the 20-foot inflatable light up Santa.
Hey, knock that thing stiff, Clark Griswold, would you please? That's well done.
Yeah, man, it's not even Thanksgiving yet, but I had to do it because it's going to get like butt cold the next few nights. My kids were here to help, so we just had to spring and do it. So we're lit.
Mark, awesome, buddy. Have a great Thanksgiving.
You guys too. Thanks for taking the call. Happy Thanksgiving to you and the ladies.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Your show is way crazy fun when they're on there with you, Johnny. You know that.
I know it.
Love to hear it.
I know it is.
Let me give a shout out to Mr. Colton. Colton on the Ute. Get some Christmas tunes going, Colton.
You got it. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, Mark. They love you guys. I told you they love you guys.
We love being here.
Well, I mean, Carl wants you to get you guys on a podcast and pick games on a podcast.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that probably could happen, too.
We're game.
You just let us know.
Right, Carl?
Oh, the fans will definitely love it.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Hey, ladies, thank you. We're going to hang around and have a couple while we're here. You guys ready?
Yeah, we're gonna watch everyone come and start celebrating the holiday.
And we're thankful for you, Jane.
Very thankful for
look,
all of you.
I'm getting buttered up by Glaros right there.
She wants to get invited to more concerts.
Yeah. She's on the Isle of Agnes. I'm just joking. It's a joke right there. It's a joke. Hey, James, have a great Thanksgiving. Ladies, have a great Thanksgiving, too. Pacer Hoops, bottom of the hour. I want you guys to sit tight, enjoy that. Have a great Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you later on in the weekend with the Colts pregame huddle, Sunday at 10 a.m.